Chapter 46:21. The shooting sun god arrow pierced through the void and shot towards the immortal venerable Pan Yun. At such a close distance, the immortal venerable Pan Yun had no chance of dodging this attack. "Activate the treasure!" The immortal venerable Pan Yun immediately shouted when he saw the shooting sun god arrow shooting towards him. Now, both he and the war god Shirtian had suffered different degrees of injuries. Therefore, the immortal venerable Pan Yun did not dare to be careless. Especially after sensing the power of the shooting sun god arrow, he did not dare to be careless. Buzz! The immortal venerable Pan Yun waved his hand and took out the immortal slaying sword. The war god Shirtian took out the demon slaughtering saber. The powerful mana in their bodies continuously surged into the two treasures. Suddenly, the two treasures shook and emitted an extremely terrifying fluctuation. Then, the two treasures actually fused together. After fusing, the two treasures became like a saber but not a saber, like a sword but not a sword. However, their auras were many times stronger than before. Ancient weapon! The rumors are true. The demon slaughtering saber and the immortal slaying sword can become an ancient weapon after fusing together. Lin Feng's face immediately revealed a shocked expression. Before this, he had already received the news. It was just that he could not believe this news. After all, the person who forged the demon slaughtering saber and the immortal slaying sword was not the same person. Moreover, these two treasures did not appear in the same era. Therefore, there was almost no reason to say that these two treasures could fuse together. However, today, he saw it with his own eyes. The two treasures really fused together. It was really unbelievable. After fusing, the ancient weapon gently swept across. Clang! Accompanied by the clanging sound of collision, the ancient weapon collided with the shooting sun god arrow. Suddenly, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Lin Feng's shooting sun god arrow was then sent flying. An ancient weapon was an ancient weapon. Its power was too terrifying, even if the other party was a true immortal expert. But in reality, it could only release a small portion of the ancient weapon's power. But even if it was only a small portion of its power, it was still terrifying enough. Ha ha! Do you feel the power of the ancient weapon? You two ant-like things, do you feel the aura of death? The immortal venerable Pan Yun laughed loudly. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. The ancient weapon was indeed powerful. Moreover, when the two of them used it together, its power was even more terrifying. "Kill them!" War God Shirtian said with a sinister smile. Following which, the two of them continuously injected their powers into the ancient weapon. Buzz! The ancient weapon trembled slightly. Next, the number of ancient weapons increased from 1 to 18. 18 ancient weapons floated in midair, shaking the void. Every time it shook the void, it would send out waves of violent fluctuations. Swish, swish, swish. Following that, the 18 ancient weapons shot towards Lin Feng and Dugiya respectively. Obviously, only one of them was real. The other 17 were manifested through special methods. However, only one of the ancient weapons was real. However, the manifested ancient weapon still possessed unimaginable power. With a light sweep, it seemed to be able to destroy all obstacles. It was as if a light blow could destroy the world. Dugiya used the 6 paths of reincarnation black hole to imprison the 12 ancient weapons flying towards him. Dugiya's cultivation was high, so they focused their energy on dealing with Dugiya. The 6 paths of reincarnation black hole was very terrifying. It scattered the condensed ancient weapons. Only the real ancient weapon was left. On the other hand, Lin Feng quickly retreated. He shot arrow after arrow at the rapidly approaching ancient weapons. The arrows flew out and collided with the ancient weapons. Every time they collided, there would be a deafening sound. Although they were only manifested ancient weapons, they dissolved the energy arrows that Lin Feng shot out. Lin Feng continuously shot out dozens of energy arrows to dissolve the 6 condensed ancient weapons. Break! At this moment, the immortal venerable Pan Yun and war god Shirtian worked together to activate their ancient weapons to the maximum. One had to admit that the ancient weapons were indeed too powerful. They actually tore apart the 6 paths of reincarnation black hole. Seeing this, Duguya quickly retreated and distanced himself from the ancient weapons. Ha ha ha, now that we have the ancient weapons, no matter how powerful your methods are, only death awaits you today. The immortal Venerable Pan Yun laughed loudly. I can't wait to eat this kid's flesh and drink his blood. War God Shirtian laughed sinisterly. Clearly, the immortal Venerable Pan Yun and War God Shirtian believed that Lin Feng and Duguya would die without a doubt. It's too early to be happy, Lin Feng sneered. Reckless fool, do you think you can deal with the two of us? The immortal Venerable Pan Yun looked at Lin Feng with contempt. Lin Feng said, That's right, that's what I think. At this moment, Duguya stretched out his right hand. In his right hand, a supreme treasure appeared. This supreme treasure emitted the same aura as the ancient weapons. It was a treasured sword. It was formed from the essence of the sun and moon, fused with the 9 suns' astral chi. It was also an ancient weapon. Sun-Moon Astral Sword, this is the Sun-Moon Astral Sword. Rumor has it that after you cultivated to the true immortal realm, your cultivation dropped rapidly. It's said that it's related to an ancient weapon. I didn't expect the rumor to be true. After seeing the Sun-Moon Astral Sword, the immortal Venerable Pan Yun's eyes widened. His expression became extremely ugly. That's right, my cultivation drop is indeed related to the Sun-Moon Astral Sword. This supreme treasure turned into an artifact cultivator to stir up trouble, killing dozens of innocent life forms. I went to suppress it, but I didn't expect to underestimate its strength. Instead, it almost took my life. Fortunately, I wasn't destined to die. Heaven Destroyer appeared when I was in danger and scattered the remnant soul of this ancient weapon. Then, he refined this ancient weapon into my body, fusing my life with this ancient weapon. That's how I managed to keep my life. Duguya said coldly. Before the battle, Lin Feng had heard about this from Duguya. Therefore, he wasn't surprised. Of course. Even though he wasn't surprised, Lin Feng still felt his blood boil. How powerful was an ancient weapon? And an ancient weapon that turned into an artifact cultivator was even more terrifying. Back then, his father had actually scattered the soul of this ancient weapon. What kind of soul-stirring battle was that? What kind of blood-boiling battle was that? Unfortunately, he could only know the scene of that battle from Senior Duguya's mouth. He couldn't see his father's heroic figure with his own eyes. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel regretful. Chapter 46-22. It's just an ancient weapon with its soul destroyed. How can its power be comparable to our ancient weapon? So what if you have this ancient weapon? Won't you still die in the end? War God Shirtian couldn't help but sneer. My ancient weapon's power isn't as strong as it was at its peak, but it's not a problem for it to unleash the power of an ordinary ancient weapon. Although the ancient weapons in both of your hands are complete, this ancient weapon has a fatal weakness. That is, this ancient weapon is an ancient weapon formed by the fusion of 2 ancient weapons. Such an ancient weapon is at most equivalent to an ordinary ancient weapon. Therefore, this ancient weapon of yours can at most tie with my Sun-Moon Tiangang sword, Duguya said indifferently. You're overestimating yourselves. I'll make sure you die without a burial ground later. Immortal Sovereign Coiling Cloud sneered. Then, he and War God Shirtian controlled their ancient weapons to attack Duguya. Duguya's expression was indifferent. He held the Sun-Moon Celestial Dipper sword in his hand and swept it towards his opponent's ancient weapon. Clang! Along with the clanging sound of collision, the ancient weapons of the 2 sides collided fiercely. Instantly, an incomparably violent and destructive power spread out in all directions. The destructive power destroyed Lin Feng's 9 extinction immortal slaughtering array. The collision of ancient weapons was too terrifying. Especially when the ancient weapons fell into the hands of someone who could use them. The explosive power would be even more terrifying, and the destructive power of the collision would be even more terrifying. Therefore, the destructive power that poured out not only destroyed Lin Feng's array, but also sent Lin Feng flying. Fortunately, Lin Feng took out his ruler's armor in time. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. The power of ancient weapons is really terrifying. I still have 2 ancient weapons. What a pity, my cultivation isn't enough to use them. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter after seeing the terrifying power of the collision between the 2 ancient weapons. One of Lin Feng's 2 ancient weapons was an ancient killing weapon. This ancient killer weapon was sealed in Muto Muto's storage ring. Muto Muto had been poisoned to death by a venomous bug. His death was truly a tragic one. The second ancient weapon was an ancient demon weapon that Lin Feng obtained after killing the son of the Heavenly Demon King. Back then, the Heavenly Demon Emperor sealed the ancient demon weapon and left it to his son. However, Sky Demon Emperor had never expected that his son would be killed by Yi Shiwen and that the ancient demon weapon would be taken away by Yi Shiwen. Although he couldn't use the ancient demon weapon, the Hou-Yi Bao and the sun-slaying divine arrow could still be of great use if he could use them well. Sun Moon Star Slash! Dugiya held the Sun Moon Big Dipper sword with both hands. Then he slashed out with his sword, an endless sword light condensed. Behind him, an illusory and mysterious world was condensed. In that illusory and mysterious world, countless stars appeared. Every star seemed to be able to shatter the heavens with just a slight rotation. This was a sword technique that was compatible with the Sun Moon Big Dipper sword. Many top-notch magic treasures had a matching divine ability to be used together with them. When the time came, it would erupt with an unbelievably terrifying power. Just like now. Dugiya used the Sun Moon Celestial Dipper sword, this ancient weapon, to execute the Sun Moon Stars Slash. The might of this sword technique was truly horrifying. At this moment, the immortal sovereign Pan Yun held their ancient weapon. Lend me a hand. The immortal sovereign Pan Yun shouted. Hearing this, War God Stoneheaven nodded and placed his hands on the immortal sovereign Pan Yun's back. Then, powerful magic power. It flowed endlessly into the immortal sovereign Pan Yun's body. The magic power in the immortal sovereign Pan Yun's body increased explosively. The magic power crazily flowed into the ancient weapon in front of him. They didn't use the divine ability that was compatible with the ancient weapon. This was because the ancient weapon didn't belong to the 2 of them at all. This was the Heavenly Emperor's treasure. The Heavenly Emperor had only given it to them for temporary use. It wasn't truly given to them. Therefore, the 2 of them naturally didn't know about the divine ability that was compatible with the ancient weapon. However, even if they didn't know about this divine ability. The immortal sovereign Pan Yun himself had cultivated many powerful divine abilities, including some that were activated with magic treasures. For example, the immortal sovereign Pan Yun was currently holding the ancient weapon and slashing it out. Endless divine lightning condensed and coiled around the ancient weapon. The divine ability that the immortal sovereign Pan Yun used was called the Thunder of 10 Directions. With a powerful magic treasure as the medium, it could erupt with unimaginably terrifying power. Clang! The 2 ancient weapons collided once again. With the place where they collided as the center, a huge shockwave was formed. They were both pouring magic power endlessly into their ancient weapons, wanting to defeat the other party. However, the 2 sides were in a deadlock. However, this deadlock was quickly broken. Although Dugiya's battle power was heaven-defying, the other party had 2 true immortal experts using their ancient weapons to deal with him alone. Therefore, this difference gradually became apparent. Dugiya's expression became somewhat unsightly. Clearly, he had discovered that something was wrong with his side. I'll shoot you to death. Lin Feng stood behind the immortal sovereign Pan Yun and war god Shi Tian. His expression was incomparably gloomy. Lin Feng held the Hou-Yi Bao and shot out arrow after arrow. Dozens of energy arrows shot out, but they were all shattered by the energy field formed by their battle. The energy arrows shot out by the Hou-Yi Bao couldn't break through the energy field formed by their battle at all. After all, their battle also involved the ancient weapons. Now, they had fused with the power of the ancient weapons. Therefore, the energy field around them had also fused with the energy field of the 2 ancient weapons. Lin Feng didn't give up. He continued to shoot. This time, Lin Feng shot out the sun-slaying divine arrow. Clang! When the sun-slaying divine arrow shot out, the powerful energy field actually sent Lin Feng's sun-slaying divine arrow flying. You overestimate yourself. Do you think you can interfere in a battle between experts of our level? Just you wait. Soon we'll kill Duguya. Do you feel like you're going crazy watching your seniors being killed by us while you can't do anything about it? War God Shirtian laughed complacently. He looked at Lin Feng with contempt. Then, he retracted his gaze and ignored Lin Feng. In any case, Lin Feng's attack couldn't break through the energy field around them. War God Shirtian's magic power continued to surge into the immortal Sovereign Pan Yun's body. He planned to go all out with the immortal Sovereign Pan Yun to kill Duguya as soon as possible. Chapter 46-23. The opponent's attacks were getting fiercer and stronger. However, it was extremely unrealistic for them to kill Duguya in a short period of time because Duguya's battle strength was extremely terrifying. Although he might not be able to withstand their combined attacks, he wouldn't be killed so quickly. Damn it! How dare you look down on me! Lin Feng cursed angrily when he saw the contempt in War God Stoneheaven's eyes. This bastard was too arrogant. Lin Feng didn't unleash the full power of the Hou-Yi Bao and sun-slaying divine arrow just now. Lin Feng only used his own power. He didn't use the power of the 9 orifices stone man, the golden dwarf, the magic lotus, or the ruler's armor. If he could use their strength, Lin Feng's battle strength would increase by a huge margin. And now, Lin Feng decided to use their power. Lin Feng communicated with the spirit of the magic lotus, Shuiwei. After communicating with Shuiwei, suddenly, the power of the magic lotus began to fuse into Lin Feng's body. At this moment, Shuiwei had already fused the power of the third world of the magic lotus into the magic lotus. Moreover, after fusing with the power of the third world, the power of the magic lotus reached the first layer of the celestial immortal realm. According to Shuiwei, the highest power it could reach was the peak of the initial stage of the celestial immortal realm, which was the power of the third layer of the celestial immortal realm. The lowest power it could reach was the peak of the earth immortal realm. Although it didn't reach the peak of the third layer of the celestial immortal realm, it wasn't the lowest power of the peak of the earth immortal realm. Lin Feng was already very satisfied to be able to reach the first layer of the celestial immortal realm. Therefore, after the power of the magic lotus fused into Lin Feng's body, Lin Feng suddenly had the urge to look up to the sky and roar. This feeling was really too comfortable. Then, Lin Feng fused with the golden dwarf's power. As his cultivation increased, the golden dwarf's bloodline power also became more powerful. Therefore, the golden dwarf became more tyrannical and played a great role in increasing Lin Feng's battle strength. Then, Lin Feng merged the 9 orifices stone man avatar into his body. In the end, Lin Feng merged the power of the ruler's armor into his body. After fusing with the magic lotus, his avatar, the golden dwarf, and the ruler's armor, Lin Feng immediately felt his combat strength increase by a large margin. Lin Feng looked indifferently at War God Shirtian and immortal venerable Pan Yun. He drew his bow again and shot an arrow. Powerful magic power poured into the Hou-Yi Bao in a steady stream. After being converted by the Hou-Yi Bao, all of this magic power was fused into the sun-slaying divine arrows. The densely packed runes on the sun-shooting divine arrow began to awaken. At this stage, Lin Feng used the ancestral sorcerer's jade amulet to activate the Hou-Yi Bao and the sun-shooting divine arrow to their maximum potential. However, Lin Feng still hadn't found a way to activate the ancestral sorcerer's jade amulet. The last time he activated the ancestral sorcerer's jade amulet was indeed a coincidence. The ancestral sorcerer's jade amulet's power was only awakened because of the right time, the right place, and the right person. Lin Feng merged with the magic lotus, the 9 orifices stone man avatar, the golden dwarf, and the ruler's armor. Although they weren't as powerful as the ancestral sorcerer's jade amulet, they were still extremely powerful. This was because the power of the magic lotus, the 9 orifices stone man avatar, the golden dwarf, and the ruler's armor were all constantly increasing. Lin Feng's own cultivation was also constantly increasing. Therefore, the power that Lin Feng could use was also increasing. Whoosh! The sun-shooting divine arrow flew out again. Although the sound of the sun-shooting divine arrow was suppressed, it was impossible to hide it from War God Shi Tian and immortal Venerable Pan Yun. After all, their cultivations were too powerful. However, the immortal Venerable and War God Shi Tian didn't care at all. Previously, when Lin Feng used the Hou Yi Bao to shoot the sun-shooting divine arrow, it didn't break the energy field outside their bodies. Therefore, they didn't care about Lin Feng's attack. It was the same before, and it was the same now. At this moment, the power of the sun-shooting divine arrow was already incomparable to before. The sun-shooting divine arrow rapidly penetrated the energy field formed by the three experts and shot towards War God Shi Tian and immortal Venerable Pan Yun. It would be best if it could pierce through their bodies. Not good! War God Shi Tian was the first to notice the sun-shooting divine arrow penetrating the energy field. He was behind immortal Venerable Pan Yun. If the sun-shooting divine arrow were to kill someone, it would kill him first. Immortal Venerable Pan Yun also noticed the sun-shooting divine arrow. His expression changed greatly, and he hurriedly moved to the left. It was too late for War God Shi Tian to dodge the sun-shooting divine arrow. At this critical moment, War God Shi Tian took out a powerful defensive magic treasure. This defensive magic treasure was called the Golden Sacred Heavenly Shield. It was a true immortal level defensive magic treasure, and its defensive power was extremely strong. War God Shi Tian wanted to use this defensive magic treasure to block the attack of the sun-shooting divine arrow. He placed this defensive magic treasure in front of him. However, when the sun-shooting divine arrow hit the defensive magic treasure, it instantly pierced through it. This caused War God Stoneheaven to be greatly shocked because the power of the sun-slaying divine arrow had suddenly increased by many times. In an instant, it had already consumed a lot of energy to pierce through the chi field formed by the battle between the three experts. However, in the next instant, it had also pierced through his true immortal level defensive magic treasure. It was truly incredible. Pooh! In the next moment, the sun-shooting divine arrow pierced through War God Shi Tian's chest. Then, the sun-shooting divine arrow quickly flew towards Lin Feng. War God Shi Tian lowered his head and looked at the bloody hole in his chest. Blood was constantly gushing out from the bloody hole. For experts of their level, even if their bodies were pierced, this kind of injury would not be fatal. This was because their vitality was simply too strong. However, the attack of the sun-shooting divine arrow was different from other attacks. When the sun-shooting divine arrow pierced through the body, the power it released was enough to destroy any person's vitality. How could this be? War God Shi Tian could not believe it. Then, he laughed bitterly. After all, he was a true immortal level expert. High and mighty. Looking down at the undying world. He was the war god in the eyes of countless people. A god that countless people worshipped. War God Shi Tian even dreamed of living to the next era and even pursued immortality. But now, everything was like a dream. He, War God Shi Tian, a true immortal level expert. He was actually shot to death by a young cultivator. War God Shi Tian could not accept all of this. This was simply a great humiliation to him. Why? 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 War God Shi Tian roared 3 times in a row. In the end, he fell to the ground and died. A true immortal was killed by Lin Feng's arrow just like that. Chapter 46-24. You actually killed the heavenly war god! Damn it! Damn it! You've caused a calamity! The heavenly war god's bloodline doesn't only belong to the war god clan, he also has the bloodline of the stone golem clan. There's a stone golem sovereign in the heavenly realm who was the ancestor of the heavenly war god. He valued the heavenly war god greatly. Now that you've killed him, no one in this world can save you. Seeing the heavenly war god killed by Lin Feng with a single arrow, the immortal sovereign Coiling Cloud immediately shouted himself hoarse. He was afraid that the expert from the heavenly realm would take his anger out on him. If that happened, even the Heavenly Emperor might not be able to protect him. Lin Feng sneered. The Heavenly Realm's people can't interfere with the matters of the Undying Realm. Since I can kill the Heavenly War God, I can kill the Stone Golem Sovereign when I get to the Heavenly Realm. I want to see if the so-called Stone Golem Sovereign really has the battle strength of a Stone Golem Sovereign, or if he's just bragging and gave himself such a name. It was no wonder that Lin Feng doubted the other party's identity. There weren't many Stone Golem Sovereigns since ancient times. The Stone Golem Sovereign's son who attacked the Dao Saint Palace was indeed a Stone Golem Sovereign. In a certain era, he was considered an invincible existence. But now, there were too many people who didn't have the strength, but still gave themselves such a flashy name. Who knew if the Stone Golem Sovereign Coiling Cloud was talking about was such a person? Of course. Lin Feng naturally knew that even if the Stone Golem Sovereign's battle strength wasn't at the level of a titled god, it was still extremely terrifying. After all, the immortal Sovereign Coiling Cloud was a true immortal expert. Even someone of his level was so afraid of the Stone Golem Sovereign. From this, one could see how terrifying the Stone Golem Sovereign's battle strength was. Just you wait! When the time comes, you won't have a good ending, the immortal Sovereign Coiling Cloud coldly said. Then, he flew into the distance. He wanted to escape. Lin Feng and Duguya had already predicted that he would choose to escape. So when the immortal Sovereign Coiling Cloud fled into the distance, Lin Feng drew his bow and shot another arrow. Whoosh! With a violent sonic boom, the sun-slaying divine arrow shot towards the immortal Venerable Coiling Cloud with a long tail of light. After feeling the terrifying power of the shooting sun's divine arrow that was shooting towards them from behind, Immortal Venerable Pan Yun's expression changed abruptly. The reason for that was because the might of that arrow was truly too terrifying. It made one's hair stand on end. This was how War God Shirtian had been killed by Lin Feng's arrow. Therefore, Immortal Venerable Coiling Cloud didn't dare to be careless in the face of the shooting sun divine arrow. He waved the ancient weapon in his hand and swept it towards the sun-slaying divine arrow that was coming from behind. Clang! Along with the sound of a collision, a sonorous sound was heard. The sun-slaying divine arrow and the ancient weapon in Immortal Venerable Coiling Cloud's hand collided violently. The sun-shot divine arrow was sent flying, but Pan Yun Immortal Venerable didn't have it easy either. His body was also sent flying, and the hand that was holding the ancient weapon was also shattered. Blood immediately flowed out. Pan Yun Immortal Venerable was truly mad. He was actually injured. Moreover, he was injured by a junior like Lin Feng. This made him feel even more humiliated. Immortal Venerable Pan Yun, die! At this moment, Duguya had already charged in front of Immortal Venerable Pan Yun. He held the Sun-Moon Dipper sword and slashed out 3 times in a row. The might of these 3 slashes was extremely terrifying. The first slash was called Star Slashing. The second slash was called Moon Arc. The third slash was called Broken Sunday. Each of these 3 slashes was stronger than the previous one. The might of each slash had reached a level that made one's face pale with fright. Finally, the 3 slashes combined into one, and the might increased explosively. Facing Duguya's powerful attack, Immortal Venerable Pan Yun's expression couldn't help but become extremely ugly. He had just blocked Lin Feng's shooting sun-shot divine arrow. But he was attacked by Duguya. This made Immortal Venerable Pan Yun extremely depressed. He originally wanted to get rid of the 2, but now it seemed that he was going to be entangled by them. Facing Duguya's attack, Immortal Venerable Pan Yun didn't dare to be careless at all. He used the cross-heaven destroying slash and directly slashed towards Duguya. Duguya's 3 slashes combined into one, and the might was raised to the peak. In the next moment, the 2 ancient weapons in their hands collided together. Terrifying power shot out horizontally and vertically. Every single one of these terrifying forces made people turn pale with fright. This time, Immortal Venerable Pan Yun lost and was sent flying by Duguya's sword. Duguya quickly chased after. His wrist suddenly shook, and the Sun-Moon Big Dipper sword directly swept towards Immortal Venerable Pan Yun. Immortal Venerable Pan Yun's expression was horrified. He wanted to block this sword, but it was already too late. He could only quickly move to the right. This person's reaction was extremely fast. However, no matter how fast his reaction was, it wasn't easy to completely dodge this attack. With a tearing sound, Immortal Venerable Pan Yun's left arm was chopped off by Dugiya. Immortal Venerable Pan Yun couldn't help but let out a miserable cry. Good chance! Lin Feng's eyes lit up slightly. Immortal Venerable Pan Yun's arm was chopped off by Senior Dugiya, and he was severely injured. Now was a great opportunity to kill this guy. Lin Feng shot out another arrow. The shooting sun-shot divine arrow quickly shot towards Immortal Venerable Pan Yun's head. At the same time, Dugiya's terrifying sword also swept towards Immortal Venerable Pan Yun once again. He was now attacked from both sides. The situation was extremely bad. But just at this moment, the ancient weapon in Dugiya's hand actually shook violently. Buzz! That ancient weapon let out a long cry. Then, an incomparably terrifying aura was transmitted from the ancient weapon. The ancient weapon took the initiative to soar into the sky. It lightly swept through the void. First, it sent Lin Feng's shooting sun-shot divine arrow flying. Then, it sent Dugiya retreating. In the next moment, that ancient weapon actually turned into the appearance of a middle-aged cultivator. This was an extremely handsome middle-aged cultivator, and also incomparably dignified. He had the aura of a superior. Weapon cultivator? No, it doesn't seem to be a weapon cultivator. Lin Feng couldn't help but be somewhat puzzled. It's divine will possession. This person is very terrifying. He only attached his divine will to this weapon, and he can actually control this weapon to turn into a human form. His battle strength is absolutely heaven-defying and unimaginable, Dugiya said. Just as Lin Feng and Dugiya were guessing who this person was, Immortal Venerable Pan Yun knelt on the ground, and then kowtowed. Your humble servant greets your majesty. Seeing Immortal Venerable Pan Yun so respectfully bow to this person, and Immortal Venerable Pan Yun even used the word, your majesty, to address the other party. In Lin Feng's heart, it was as if monstrous waves were set off. Heavenly Emperor. The person in front of him was actually the Heavenly Emperor. It was rumored that the Heavenly Emperor was in existence with 1 foot in the true immortal realm. Right now, he was searching for a way to surpass immortality and enter the Saint Realm. If the Heavenly Emperor broke through again, then he would be in the Saint Realm. Chapter 46-25. Dugiya! In fact, I have heard of you a long time ago. You were with Lin Baitian for a period of time, but your body was injured when you subdued the Sun-Moon Celestial Sword. Therefore, you had to go into seclusion to heal your injuries. You should be very glad that you left in time. Otherwise, you would have become a pile of yellow soil in this vast world, just like those people who are foolishly loyal to Lin Baitian. They don't understand the meaning of life. Living is the most important thing. If you die, everything will be in vain. Heaven Emperor looked at Dugiya with an indifferent expression. Dugiya's expression was extremely gloomy. Back then, he had followed Lin Feng's father, Lin Baitian. At that time, he was close friends with many of Lin Baitian's followers. However, that parting turned into an eternal parting. He would never be able to see those close friends again because they were all dead. Heaven Emperor, you deserve to die. As the Lord of the Undying World. As a peak expert at the end of this epic. You actually colluded with the people of that world. Even if you die 1,000 times, 10,000 times, it won't be enough. Dugiya said coldly. Heaven Emperor smiled and said, even now, you still can't see through things. Everyone knows that the end of an epic is inevitable. Since that's the case, we should let nature take its course instead of resisting. Yet you people are trying to resist. How laughable and foolish! Dugiya said coldly. Do you know how many lives will die without a burial place when an epic is destroyed? Heaven Emperor said indifferently. It's fine as long as you can survive. Why do you care about the lives of the world? You! Dugiya was rendered speechless by Heaven Emperor's words. Some people would willfully slaughter the innocent for their own selfish desires. They ignored the common people and didn't care about their position. And clearly, the Celestial Emperor belonged to this kind of person. Some people cared about the common people of the world and wanted to save them. The great ancient saint emperors, or the experts who had made great contributions to this epoch or even sacrificed their lives for this epoch, belonged to this group of people. It was too narrow-minded to only care about oneself. It was a little too boring. Caring for the common people wasn't just being sanctimonious. Think about it. We survived, but our loved ones, our parents, our relatives, our clansmen, our friends, and our fellow disciples all died. What was the meaning of such a life? Lin Feng said indifferently. As expected of Heaven Emperor to be able to say the words dog in such a refreshing manner. You were born to be a slave, even after becoming Heaven Emperor. Heaven Emperor narrowed his eyes at Lin Feng when he heard Lin Feng's mocking words. Those who understood Heaven Emperor's personality would know that when he narrowed his eyes at someone, he already wanted to kill that person. Heaven Emperor wanted to kill Lin Feng because Lin Feng's words had angered him. Although Heaven Emperor was high and mighty, there were still things he didn't want to face. For example, he would never forget how his clansmen had mocked him when he was a child. Back then, in order to break through to the true immortal realm, he had unhesitatingly killed his own mother to remove his inner demons. Could it be that Heaven Emperor truly wanted to break through to the true immortal realm? No! That wasn't the case at all. There was another important reason for Heaven Emperor's actions. That was, Heaven Emperor hated his own mother. He had always felt that all the humiliation he had suffered was caused by her. Therefore, he had killed his own mother without hesitation. From this, one could see, Heaven Emperor was such a heartless person. Moreover, because of his experience when he was young, Heaven Emperor valued the gazes of others very much. He enjoyed the gazes of others who respected and worshipped him. He couldn't accept others' contempt and disrespect towards him. Lin Feng, son of Lin Beitian, even your father doesn't dare to be so presumptuous in front of me. Who do you think you are? How dare you be so presumptuous in front of this emperor? You really don't know the rules. Your father must have taught you to be like this. Black smoke must be coming out of his ancestral grave. What a misfortune! Heaven Emperor sneered. Lin Feng smiled faintly and said, Are you jealous of me? That's why you said such words? My ancestors have many experts from the Sovereign Emperor clan, as well as many experts from the Undying clan. Their bloodlines are incomparably powerful, and you, Heavenly Emperor, are from the Celestial race. I know about this race, and although the Celestial race thinks that their bloodlines are very noble, in front of us, the Celestial race is ranked at the bottom of the innate human race. They are only fit to carry the shoes of the Sovereign Emperor clan and the Undying clan. As for your origin, I know even more clearly. Although your father is a cultivator of the Celestial race, your mother is a cultivator of the White Peacock race. The bloodline of the Celestial race is not a high-grade bloodline, but those guys with ordinary bloodlines have always looked down on you and insulted you as a lowly bloodline. It's really the pot calling the kettle black. There's a saying that when the tiger is not in the mountain, the monkey will be the king. It's talking about you Celestial race cultivators. After those powerful bloodlines were hidden, you guys jumped out and acted so self-righteously. Later on, in order to break through to the true immortal realm, you even killed your mother. I'm not wrong about this, am I? Enough, Heavenly Emperor said angrily. His eyes became incomparably gloomy. This was his secret, and Heavenly Emperor thought that no one knew about it. However, Lin Feng, a junior, actually knew about it. Moreover, Yi Futian had revealed these secrets. Heavenly Emperor couldn't accept this, and this made him go mad with hatred. His heart was filled with killing intent. When Pan Yun heard Lin Feng's words, his mouth fell open. He was clearly shocked. Then, a sense of fear rose in his heart. He knew Heavenly Emperor too well. Now that Lin Feng had revealed Heavenly Emperor's secret, Heavenly Emperor wouldn't kill him out of anger, would he? After all, only the dead could better guard these secrets. Duguya was also very shocked. He didn't expect Lin Feng to know Heavenly Emperor's secret. It was also the first time he had heard of these secrets. And obviously, if these secrets were to be leaked, it would definitely cause a huge uproar. Because Heavenly Emperor killed his mother. Therefore, this matter was enough to ruin Heavenly Emperor's reputation. Chapter 46:26. Haha! The Celestial Emperor suddenly laughed. What are you laughing at? Lin Feng asked indifferently. I'm laughing at how laughable you are. You can make up any kind of lie just to smear my name, the Celestial Emperor said indifferently. Of course, he wouldn't admit to what had happened back then. No one else would admit to it. However, what Lin Feng said was true. Lin Feng had heard this from the Demon Lord. Originally, the Demon Lord shouldn't know such a secret. However, the Yao Lord was a cultivator of the Yao clan. Back then, he was on good terms with a powerhouse of the White Peacock clan. That powerhouse of the White Peacock clan revealed this matter after drinking. The Demon Lord's fall back then was related to this matter. Even the expert from the White Peacock race who knew this secret was killed by the Celestial Emperor. Brat, you're crazy! You slandered the Celestial Emperor! You dared to make up any kind of lie! You deserve to die 10,000 times! Immortal Sovereign Pan Yun scolded Lin Feng. He naturally had to show off in front of the Celestial Emperor. He wanted to tell the Celestial Emperor that he didn't believe Lin Feng's words at all. He wanted to reassure the Celestial Emperor. Otherwise, he would die a horrible death. Right and wrong are all in the heart. Perhaps only the Celestial Emperor himself knows whether what I said is true or not, Lin Feng said. Back then, your father was a scourge, and you were a scourge as well. You only know how to spread rumors and create trouble. Even if you say such things, how many people would believe you? The Celestial Emperor looked coldly at Lin Feng. Since I've appeared today, I can't let you off. I originally wanted to kill you, but now I've changed my mind. I want to bring you back to the Heavenly Court. Immortal Sovereign Pan Yun, delay Duguye. I'll capture this brat. Yes. Immortal Sovereign Pan Yun hurriedly replied. The Celestial Emperor walked toward Lin Feng. Duguye's expression changed. Lin Feng could not deal with the Sky Emperor. Duguye knew this very well. He charged towards the Sky Emperor. He wanted to delay the Sky Emperor so that Lin Feng could leave as soon as possible. The appearance of the Celestial Emperor today was an extremely dangerous signal in itself. The Sky Emperor was too powerful. He had one foot in the Saint Realm. Duguye wasn't sure how strong the body formed by the combination of his spiritual sense and the ancient weapon was. However, there was one thing that Duguye was clear about. The Heavenly Emperor in front of him wasn't someone that he could contend against. Moreover, the Heavenly Emperor had the Pan Yun Immortal Venerable, a true immortal expert, by his side. In order to deal with the Sinner's Blood Alliance, the Heavenly Emperor had truly gone all out. Duguye, your opponent is me! Pan Yun Immortal Venerable sneered. He took out a supreme treasure and attacked Duguye. This supreme treasure was extremely extraordinary because it was a stone artifact. After all, Pan Yun Immortal Venerable was an expert who had lived for tens of millions of years, so he definitely had some heaven-defying magic treasures on him. For example, the supreme treasure that he took out now was one of them. This was a treasure seal called the Coiling Dragon Seal. Its power was extremely terrifying. Now that it was taken out, it instantly erupted with heaven-defying power. Pan Yun Immortal Venerable used the Coiling Dragon Seal to block Duguye. Lin Feng quickly retreated. He shot arrow after arrow at the Sky Emperor. However, the arrows stopped when they were about 3 meters away from the Sky Emperor. They couldn't break through the Sky Emperor's defense at all. The Sky Emperor waved his hand and the arrows shattered. At this moment, the sun-slaying divine arrow was shot at the Sky Emperor. The Sky Emperor flicked his finger. A clanging sound rang out. Then, Lin Feng's sun-slaying divine arrow was actually repelled by the Sky Emperor. Lin Feng's expression changed abruptly. The guy before him didn't even descend with his true body. He was actually so terrifying. This was inconceivable. The Sky Emperor raised his right hand and slapped at Lin Feng. The Sky Emperor's terrifying attack enveloped him, making Lin Feng feel a dangerous aura. He used the instant transmission ability and quickly shuttled out. "Kid, you won't be able to escape!" The Sky Emperor's expression was indifferent as he slapped at the void on his left. Lin Feng flew out from that void. He was blasted out by the Sky Emperor's palm. Lin Feng's expression was abnormally ugly. This grandson of the Sky Emperor was too powerful. He was afraid that he would be in danger today. The Sky Emperor continued to walk towards Lin Feng, wanting to quickly suppress Lin Feng. However, at this moment, the Sky Emperor's eyes narrowed slightly. He turned his head and looked at the forest on his right. Suddenly, the Sky Emperor saw an outrageously beautiful young man who looked to be 16 or 17 years old was walking over. There were many bells hanging on the young man's body, so when he walked, there would be a tinkling sound. It was crisp and pleasant. If one looked closely, one would see that the young man with red lips and white teeth was not a young man at all. He was a female cultivator disguised as a man. The Red World Fairy. The Red World Fairy was here. Lin Feng was too excited to see his first wife, the Red World Fairy, arrive. "Who are you?" The Sky Emperor looked at the Red World Fairy and asked. "I am the Red World Fairy." "No, it's the Red World Fairy," Lin Feng corrected her. The Red World Fairy couldn't help but glare at Lin Feng when she heard Lin Feng's words. It was as if she would teach Lin Feng a lesson if he dared to say anything else to Lin Feng. "The Red World Fairy? I've never heard of her. However, if you leave today, I can be friends with you," the Sky Emperor said. He obviously felt that the Red World Fairy was not simple and wanted to rope in the Red World Fairy. The Sky Emperor believed in her. A smart person would know how to choose. He. The Red World Fairy suddenly laughed. "Did you know that he and I are both cultivators from the 9 states? The Red World Fairy pointed at Lin Feng and said. "What kind of friendship is this?" the Sky Emperor said indifferently. Did he have to help the other person because they were from the same place? Obviously, this did not make sense. The Red World Fairy's reason was very lame in the Sky Emperor's eyes. "In my opinion, that's enough," the Red World Fairy said. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." The Sky Emperor's eyes suddenly turned cold. Then, the Sky Emperor's body swayed, and in the next moment, he appeared in front of the Red World Fairy. Then, he blasted a palm toward the Red World Fairy. The power of such a terrifying palm strike was naturally extremely shocking. The Red World Fairy's expression was indifferent. She also blasted out a palm and collided with the Sky Emperor's palm. Thump! Thump! Venerable Immortal Red Dust and the Heavenly Emperor were evenly matched. Although the Sky Emperor in front of her was not the Sky Emperor's true body, he had integrated the power of the ancient weapon, so his combat power was extremely terrifying. Not bad, not bad. Although your cultivation level has not increased, from the combat power just now, you're almost at the Tao Immortal Realm. The Sky Emperor looked at the Red World Fairy and said. An Essence Tao Golden Sage was a 4th heaven true immortal. During the great battle between the 9 states and the myriad races, the Red World Fairy could contend with cultivators at the Imperial Lord level. However, it had only been more than 100 years since the great battle of the 9 states, and the Red World Fairy's combat power had reached the Tao Immortal Realm. It was unbelievable. Chapter 46-27. Of course, the Red World Fairy had always been an extremely heaven-defying existence. Back then, it was as difficult as ascending to heaven for others to find one of the 3,000 great Das. However, the Red World Fairy had already cultivated 3,000 types of 3,000 great Das. It could be seen how extraordinary the Red World Fairy was. Although it was surprising that she could have such combat strength, it was not unacceptable. It was not surprising that this kind of thing happened to the Red World Fairy. The Red World Fairy did have such an ability. The ancient weapon formed by fusing them really can't be compared to a real ancient weapon. If it were a real ancient weapon, your combat strength would be more than this, the Red World Fairy said indifferently. After hearing the Red World Fairy's words, the Sky Emperor suddenly sneered. Because the Red World Fairy's words seemed to be a little disdainful of the current him. Don't be too arrogant. In my opinion, killing you is not a problem at all, the Sky Emperor said coldly. Hearing this, the Red World Fairy's face suddenly showed a sneer. She said, Then let's try it. 8 Desolation Fist. The Sky Emperor's expression was indifferent. He stepped forward and punched out. An ancient and terrifying aura spread out. 8 Desolation Fist, an extremely heaven-defying divine ability. After this divine ability was used, it condensed the divine power of desolation. When the 8 Desolation Fist was used, it seemed to be able to destroy the world. Facing the Sky Emperor's attack, the Red World Fairy slapped out a palm. The power of karma lingered on the Red World Fairy's palm. The Red World Fairy's palm was a supreme palm technique that was comprehended from the great Tao of karma. This palm was called the palm of karma. Bang! Accompanied by the sound of a violent collision, the Red World Fairy and the Sky Emperor's palm collided. Their collision was terrifying to the extreme, and cracks appeared in the surrounding void. The laws of the Undying Realm were very powerful. Only a battle between true immortals could break the void of the Undying Realm. This strike. The Red World Fairy and Sky King were still evenly matched, but the Red World Fairy's causal power kept going into Sky King's body. Lin Feng immediately felt that Heavenly Emperor's power was starting to weaken. Moreover, the Celestial Emperor seemed to be unable to maintain his current state. After all, the Celestial Emperor was formed by merging his consciousness with the ancient weapon, and the ancient weapon was formed by merging 2 weapons together. Once the ancient weapon was split into 2, even the Celestial Arch would not be able to maintain his current state. Everything in the world has its cause and effect. The cycle of cause and effect is endless. The Red World Fairy chanted an incantation. Crack, crack. The sound of bones cracking came from the Sky Emperor's body, but it wasn't actually the sound of bones cracking. It was the sound of 2 weapons separating. This is the power of cause and effect. To be able to cultivate the path of cause and effect to this extent is truly incredible. Even the ancient monks of Buddhism might not be able to cultivate the path of cause and effect to such a deep level. You are truly a powerful figure, but to this emperor, you are still too immature. Now I will let you know how powerful this emperor is. Sky King looked at the Red World Fairy with an indifferent expression. Then, Sky King stepped toward the Red World Fairy. I am the Lord of all heavens, the Lord of all living beings, the Lord of all heavens, the Lord of all worlds, the Lord of all heavens and the universe. I am supreme. Remember, the divine ability I am using is called Myriad Worlds Worshipping. All living beings of all worlds. All must worship me. Sky King's voice was very cold. He was like an immortal god. When he used that divine ability, Sky King became the Lord of all heavens. That kind of pressure was really too terrifying. Anyone who faced Sky King would have the urge to prostrate themselves in worship. Sky King's divine ability was too domineering. Sky King's palm blasted toward the Red World Fairy. Terrifying pressure spread out. The Red World Fairy's body was motionless. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. Could it be? The Red World Fairy was intimidated by Sky King's divine ability, so she could not attack? This was how strange the Myriad Worlds worshipping God art was. First, it released a terrifying pressure to intimidate the opponent. There were too few cultivators who could resist this kind of pressure. After being enveloped by this pressure, one's body would be unable to move, and they would not even be able to think of resisting. When the time came, they would become a living target, and could only watch themselves take the Sky King's terrifying attack. But there was no way to resist at all. This feeling was naturally enough to drive people crazy. Even if a cultivator could resist Sky King's divine ability, their combat power would be greatly affected. They might only be able to use 30 to 40% of their combat power, and at most 60 to 60%. At that time, they would still be unable to fight Sky King. So, Sky King's divine ability was too powerful, and it made people despair. But soon, Lin Feng felt that the Red World Fairy should have the power to resist, right? The next moment, Sky King's attack blasted onto the Red World Fairy's body. The Red World Fairy's body directly dissipated. The next moment, the Red World Fairy appeared 100 meters away. Just then, the Red World Fairy silently dodged Sky King's attack. Sure enough, as Lin Feng guessed, the Red World Fairy's methods were extremely brilliant. How could she be killed so easily by Sky King? The Red World Fairy walked step by step towards Sky King. Then, something shocking happened. The Red World Fairy's body actually began to split. 1 became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4. In the end, the Red World Fairy became 9. Every one of them. They were all no different from the Red World Fairy. It was impossible to tell which was the Red World Fairy, and which was the Red World Fairy's body. When one divides into 9, one's power will also be weakened. Do you want to die too slowly? Is that why you want to die faster? Sky King looked at the Red World Fairy with contempt. The Red World Fairy sneered. She did not argue with Sky King. All 9 immortal venerables charged toward the Heavenly Emperor. These 9, the Red World Fairy displayed the Tao of fate, predestination, karma, reincarnation, creation, yin, yang, disaster, space, and time. Their attacks were extremely terrifying and heaven-defying. They instantly attacked Sky King. Sky King condensed the Four Corners world. He wanted to use this divine ability to resolve the attacks of the 9 the Red World Fairy, but Sky King failed. The Four Corners world he condensed was destroyed by the Red World Fairy's attack. Then, the Red World Fairy's body bombarded Sky King's body. Sky King was directly beaten back to his original form and turned into an ancient weapon. And this ancient weapon could not continue to maintain the form of an ancient weapon. In the end, it split into 2. Immortal Honored Red Dust unleashed a powerful dermic power to suppress the 2 weapons. She seemed to want to suppress the 2 treasures, the demon's slaughtering saber, and the immortal's slaying sword. Chapter 46-28. The Red World Fairy, you win! I'll remember you! The Heavenly Emperor's voice could be heard from the 2 weapons. The Heavenly Emperor had been beaten back to his original form by the Red World Fairy. Clearly, the Heavenly Emperor was somewhat hysterical now. He couldn't accept all this. In his eyes, this was a great humiliation. You talk too much! The Red World Fairy sneered and continued to suppress the 2 weapons. However, an energy ball flew out from each of the weapons. The 2 energy balls quickly converged together. Then, it exploded. The destructive power spread out in all directions. The power of the explosion was terrifying to the extreme. It made people pale with fright. Clearly, this was the trump card that the Heavenly Emperor had left behind. One had to admit that the Heavenly Emperor was very good at scheming. No matter what happened, he would plan every step. This was the Heavenly Emperor. To be able to become the Heavenly Emperor, he was naturally not a simple person. Lin Feng, the Red World Fairy, and Duguya quickly retreated. They avoided the terrifying destructive power of the 2 energy balls. When the energy completely dissipated, the 2 weapons and immortal sovereign coiling cloud had disappeared. They escaped! Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. However, although one person escaped, the Heavenly War God was killed. This was a great harvest. Lin Feng cut off the Heavenly War God's head. Then, with a flick of his finger, heavenly fire flew out. The heavenly fire enveloped the Heavenly War God's body and burned it to ashes. In the end, only the Heavenly War God's source energy was left floating in the void. This was the source energy of a true immortal. It was incomparably precious. Lin Feng kept the source energy of the Heavenly War God. Venerable Red Dust, on the other hand, walked into the distance. Fairy, wait! Lin Feng shouted. The Red World Fairy ignored Lin Feng and quickly left. However, after the Red World Fairy left, a threatening voice rang out in Lin Feng's mind. Today, there are people here, so I'll give you face. If you dare call me a fairy again, I won't be polite to you. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. The Red World Fairy was actually quite cute. The Red World Fairy was really good to him. Otherwise, she would not have specially come here. Dugia looked at Lin Feng and said, "That woman is the Red World Fairy of the 9 provinces." Lin Feng nodded and said, "That's right. Uncle Dugu, have you heard of her?" Dugia smiled and said, "Of course I've heard of her, but I've never seen her before. I never thought that there would be such a heaven-defying person in this world. Back then, the 9 provinces was unable to break through to the Emperor realm due to the great changes in the heavens and earth. The Red World Fairy was suppressed for thousands of years because of this. If not for the delay of thousands of years, the Red World Fairy would be even more heaven-defying now," Lin Feng said. Dugia said, "There are gains and losses." Lin Feng pondered Dugia's words. It was indeed as Dugia had said. There were gains and losses in everything. Back then, the Red World Fairy was restricted by the laws of the heavens and earth and was unable to break through. However, she must have gained something in other aspects, right? "Let's quickly return to the battlefield," Lin Feng said. Dugia nodded and quickly flew towards the battlefield with Lin Feng. At this moment, the battle was extremely intense. The cultivator army of the 4 Territory Alliance had the advantage in numbers, so they had gained a great advantage. After Lin Feng arrived, he raised the head in his hand. Then, he shouted, "The heavenly war god has been killed and the Pan Yun Immortal Venerable has escaped. Brothers and sisters of the Sinner's Blood Alliance, what are we waiting for? Slaughter the cultivator army of the 4 Territory Alliance. It's time to make a name for ourselves." Lin Feng's shout instantly attracted everyone's attention. Everyone looked at the head in Lin Feng's hand and discovered that it was indeed the head of the heavenly war god. Everyone's expression changed greatly. The cultivator army of the Sinner's Blood Alliance was ecstatic and excited. One of their true immortals had died and the other had escaped. Without their commander, their morale would definitely be in chaos. This was the best opportunity for them to counterattack. On the other hand, the cultivator army of the 4 Territory Alliance was in complete chaos. One of their true immortals had died and the other had escaped. The enemy was too terrifying. If the battle continued, they might also die here. This was especially true for the cultivator armies of the Chaos Sword Domain and 9 Deities Domain. They were not willing to participate in this battle. They had no choice but to come because of the Heavenly Emperor's decree. Now, of the 2 true immortals sent by the Heavenly Emperor, one had died and the other had escaped. There was no need for them to stay here and risk their lives for the Heavenly Emperor. Cultivator Army of the Chaos Sword Domain, retreat immediately. Domain Lord of the 9 Deities Domain, retreat immediately. The higher-ups of the Chaos Sword Domain and 9 Deities Domain shouted. Then, the cultivator armies of the 2 sides gathered and fled in the direction of the Chaos Sword Domain and 9 Deities Domain. On the other side, the cultivator armies of the Black Sand region and the Weak Water region had also gathered. They were fleeing in the direction of the Black Sand region and the Weak Water region. Lin Feng knew that the Black Sand region and the Weak Water region were loyal to the Heavenly Emperor. As for the Chaos Sword Domain and 9 Deities Domain, they were independent powers. They were not loyal to the Heavenly Emperor. The only reason they sent out their troops was because they could not disobey the Heavenly Emperor's decree. Therefore, Lin Feng did not give the order to pursue the Chaos Sword Domain and 9 Deities Domain. Leave a way out. Let's meet again in the future. There was no need to fight to the death with them. However, Lin Feng was not so courteous to the Black Sand region and the Weak Water region. He and Dugia each led an army to pursue the cultivator armies of the Black Sand region and the Weak Water region. Although Lin Feng only led an army of 500,000 cultivators in pursuit, he defeated the Black Sand region's army of 1.5 million. The domain lord of the Black Sand region had 7 sons. This time, he had brought 4 of them with him to exterminate the Sinner's Blood Alliance. However, as they fled, 2 of them were killed by Lin Feng with the Hui Bao. One of the 2 killed was Chu Yunlin. Lin Feng was all too familiar with this guy. Back then, he'd besieged the Sacred Spirit tribe. He'd also pursued Lin Feng and was a quasi-true immortal. Now, he died at Lin Feng's hands. The other was a sky immortal, Chu Yunsen. He was also killed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng had originally planned to kill the Black Sand region's domain lord, but in the end, he'd let him escape. In the end, the Black Sand region's domain lord led the 300,000 survivors and fled. The remaining 1.5 million soldiers were all killed, including the cultivator armies that had fallen earlier. This time, the Black Sand region had mobilized 3 million cultivators. They'd actually lost over 2,700,000, causing the Black Sand region's strength to plummet. Lin Feng led his army to clean up the battlefield, then returned to the Sin capital. Not long after Lin Feng's return, Duguya also led his army back. Duguya's side was even more ruthless. The domain lord of the Weak Water region only led 30,000 people to flee, while the rest were all killed. Chapter 46-29. Big news! Shocking news! The Four Territory Alliance suffered heavy losses in the Battle of Sin Realm. Their casualties exceeded 8 million. Moreover, the true immortal war god Shirtian was killed, and the immortal sovereign Coiling Cloud escaped with injuries. Undying Realm. Various regions. News of the Battle of Sin Realm quickly spread, whether it was in ancient cities, ordinary cities, or small towns. Countless people felt that the Sin Realm Alliance was doomed. After all, the Celestial Emperor had mobilized an army of 12 million cultivators. Moreover, he had mobilized 2 true immortals. The Celestial Emperor had even bestowed upon them 2 supreme treasures, the Devil's Slaughtering Saber and the Immortal's Slaying Sword. When combined, these 2 supreme treasures were equivalent to ancient weapons. With such a large army and 2 true immortals holding down the fort, the Celestial Emperor had been defeated. How could they have lost? And yet they had lost the battle. It was an extremely bitter defeat. This news can't be fake, right? Could it be that someone is playing a prank, and that's why they spread fake news? When the news spread, many people began to doubt it. They felt that it couldn't be true. But soon, another piece of news spread. The news had been verified. The Four Territories Alliance had suffered a crushing defeat. They had suffered heavy casualties. War god Shirtian had also been killed. Moreover, a crystal ball of light had spread. A blurry image was imprinted on the crystal ball. It was a cultivator holding a head. The cultivator's appearance was blurry because Lin Feng's fortune was so great that the crystal ball couldn't imprint his appearance. However, the image of war god Shirtian's head was clearly imprinted. When the crystal ball was circulated, the news was confirmed. Even if they didn't believe it, they had to believe it. This caused a huge commotion. The Sacred Legion had been destroyed by the Sinner's Blood Alliance led by Lin Feng. Now, the Four Territories Alliance had almost been annihilated. It was truly inconceivable. The Sinner's Blood Alliance definitely has more than one true immortal expert. That's right. It seems that the Sinner's Blood Alliance also has a true immortal expert who didn't die. I reckon they've come out this time as well. There's also that Lin Feng. His father is Lin Feng. Back then, his father was a heaven-defying existence. Among his followers, there were true immortals. Maybe someone at that level will come out to help Lin Feng. Such a situation is indeed possible. No wonder the Sinner's Blood Alliance was able to achieve victory in both wars. That's because the forces behind them are extremely powerful. The world only sees their surface strength, including the Celestial Emperor. This is the fundamental reason why the Sacred Legion and the allied forces of the 4 regions were defeated. Now that the allied forces of the 4 regions have suffered such heavy losses, and the Celestial Emperor has lost 2 true immortals, the Celestial Emperor probably won't continue to mobilize his army against the Sinner's Blood Alliance in the near future. After all, it's extremely difficult to fight across multiple regions, and the region lords won't agree to it. Now that the feudal vassals are divided, the Celestial Emperor's prestige is no longer the same as before. In the final analysis, it's because many factions have hidden experts who have emerged, so they don't fear the Celestial Emperor as much as before. Once the Celestial Emperor's orders are issued, it's even more difficult to carry them out. The Sinner's Blood Alliance's control over the Sinner's realm is irreversible. The descendants of the Sinner's Blood Alliance have been suppressed for so many years. Now, they can finally hold their heads high. This Lin Feng is also quite a character. He actually led the Sinner's Blood Alliance to defeat the Celestial Emperor's army twice. Truly incredible. Actually, I feel that although this Lin Feng is very powerful, he's not as godly as the legends say. It's said that his cultivation isn't particularly high. The reason he can be so fierce is because of the Hou-Yi Bow and the sun-slaying divine arrows. Without the bow and the sun-slaying divine arrows, there's a huge gap between him and the top geniuses like the 8 young masters. On the surface, Lin Feng led the Sinner's Blood Alliance to defeat the Sacred Legion and the allied forces of the 4 territories. However, in reality, Lin Feng is only a figure pushed forward by the powerhouses behind him. He's equivalent to a puppet. The real decision-makers should be the powerhouses behind him, not Lin Feng. I also feel the same. Although this Lin Feng is somewhat extraordinary, he's not as powerful as everyone says. The rise of the Sinner's Blood Alliance isn't due to him. However, he's still a sinner with the imperial blood. Being pushed to the front by others can indeed play a role in condensing the Sinner's blood. Currently, the cultivators of the various territories in the Undying Realm were discussing the previous battle. Naturally, it was inevitable that Lin Feng would be involved. Some people felt that Lin Feng was really too powerful. Lin Feng played an extremely crucial role in destroying the Sacred Legion and defeating the allied forces of the 4 territories. However, there were also people who snorted disdainfully. They felt that Lin Feng was just a puppet. Everything about Lin Feng was just a legend. The real Lin Feng was nothing at all. And the majority of people believed in this point of view. After all, destroying the Sacred Legion and defeating the allied forces of the 4 territories was really too inconceivable. A person who could lead such a great reversal, and 2 consecutive great reversals at that, was definitely not someone to be trifled with. If it was a true immortal powerhouse, everyone would still be able to accept it. However, if it was Lin Feng, it was too inconceivable. Everyone couldn't accept it. Perhaps it was because they felt that this matter was too inconceivable that they were unwilling to believe it from the bottom of their hearts. Lin Feng didn't know what those cultivators were discussing. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care. Heavenly Emperor Palace. The Heavenly Emperor sat on the Emperor's throne. His expression was extremely gloomy. In the main hall, 2 people stood. One was Immortal Pan Yun. The other was an old man. That old man was obviously also a true immortal. However, no one knew where that old man had come from. In the void, one figure after another appeared. 17 figures appeared one after another. This was a projection technique. Surrendering from an endless distance was an extremely terrifying method. Your humble servant greets your majesty. One expert after another bowed to the Heavenly Emperor. The origins of these 17 figures were extremely frightening. They weren't ordinary people. They were the commanders of the other 17 legions under the Heavenly Emperor's command. In truth, the legions under the Heavenly Emperor's command weren't very strong. For example, the Sacred Legion only had about 10 million cultivators, while the strongest legion had 80 million cultivators. The difference was extremely great. The Sacred Legion only ranked 17th among the 18 legions under the Heavenly Emperor's command. Dispense with the formalities, the Heavenly Emperor said with a gloomy expression. Hearing the Heavenly Emperor's words, only then did the projections of the 17 experts stand up. Chapter 4630. Everyone should have heard of the situation in Sin Realm, right? What do you all think? The Celestial Emperor asked. These people were all his trusted subordinates, and all of them were extremely powerful. Now, all of the major powers had their own powerful beings, but the Celestial Thearcha's position was still stable because of the deterrence of these trusted subordinates. If the Celestial Emperor had been alone, the other powers would have been even more subservient to him. After all, a single tree couldn't hold up the sky. No matter how powerful someone was, they would need helpers. This was especially true for the world lords. A legion commander said, "We've already heard of this matter, but we're not particularly familiar with the Sinner's Blood Alliance, so we can't analyze the situation of the Sinner's Blood Alliance. Since Immortal Venerable Coiling Cloud is participating in this battle, let Immortal Venerable Coiling Cloud explain the Sinner's Blood Alliance." The one who spoke was none other than the Northern Wilderness War God. He was a terrifying existence with an army of 80 million cultivators under his command. The Northern Wilderness War God could be considered a vassal, but he was a vassal who was extremely loyal to the Celestial Emperor. Immortal Sovereign Coiling Cloud glanced at the Celestial Emperor, who nodded slightly. "Lin Baitian's son, Lin Feng, isn't that much of a threat. After all, his cultivation hasn't increased. However, Lin Feng has several powerful figures behind him. For example, Dugiya. I'm sure everyone has heard of him." The others nodded. A legion commander once said, "Back then, Dugiya served Lin Baitian for a period of time. However, it is said that something happened to his body. Has he recovered?" The immortal Exalt Coiling Cloud nodded and said, "Yes, he has already recovered to the true immortal realm. Moreover, he possesses the ancient weapon, the Sun-Moon Celestial Sword. Thus, his combat strength is extremely terrifying. I presume that with Dugiya's natural talent and the inheritance he obtained, his cultivation will rise greatly in a short period of time. However, Dugiya isn't the most terrifying one. The most terrifying one is a woman called Immortal Exalt Hongqin. She's only a little over 4,000 years old, but her combat strength is at least at the Dao Immortal realm. Moreover, I feel that she didn't use her full strength when she attacked earlier." "What? There's such a heaven-defying character in this world?" After hearing Immortal Venerable Coiling Cloud's words, the expressions of the 17 captains couldn't help but change. It was no wonder that they were so shocked. The Red World Fairy was simply too heaven-defying. Pan Yun Immortal Venerable bitterly smiled and nodded. "That's right, this person is indeed so heaven-defying. Which clan does this Immortal Venerable Hongchen belong to? Is it also Sinner's Blood?" the Northern Wilderness War God asked. Immortal Sovereign Pan Yun said, "I don't know if it's Sinner's Blood, but this woman is a human cultivator." "Are there any other experts?" the Northern Wilderness War God asked. Immortal Sovereign Coiling Cloud said, "These 2 experts appeared during the previous war. I wonder if the Sinner's bloodline has any more old antiques." A legion commander said decisively, "There definitely is. Never underestimate the experts of the Sin's bloodline at any time. Now that everyone has a better understanding of the situation, I wish to attack the Sinner's Blood Alliance a 3rd time. This time, I plan to mobilize an army from your 17 legions. What do you think?" The Heavenly Emperor looked at the 17 legions. At this time, a legion commander said, "Your Majesty, it wouldn't be a problem to mobilize the troops during normal times. However, the ancient demon domain that we are monitoring has been acting strangely. Over the years, the experts of the ancient demon domain have emerged one after another. In addition, the ancient demon domain itself has several powerful experts. Moreover, the ancient demon domain has always been hostile to our heavenly court. Now that our army is pressuring the ancient demon domain doesn't dare to act strangely. If we mobilize a part of the army, the ancient demon domain will definitely act." Another legion commander said, "Your Majesty, it's the same for the chaotic heavens domain that we're monitoring. The people in the chaotic heavens domain have always been restless. Now that they're acting strangely, we really can't mobilize an army to attack the Sinner's Blood Alliance." The other legion commanders expressed their opinions as well. They all expressed that it was very difficult to mobilize an army to attack the Sinner's Blood Alliance. In truth, they weren't trying to avoid this matter. Just as they said, the situation on their side was indeed quite tense. The Heavenly Emperor clearly knew this as well. He looked at the Northern Wilderness War God and said, "Northern Wilderness War God, what do you think of the Sinner's Blood Alliance?" The Northern Wilderness War God said, "Your Majesty, The Sinner-Blood Alliance has already reached a certain level of power, so it won't be easy to wipe them out. We need to strengthen our defenses elsewhere, and we can't mobilize our troops to suppress the Sinner-Blood Alliance. As a result, we are in a dilemma. However, there are priorities. The Sinner-Blood Alliance's foundation isn't particularly stable yet. Moreover, as long as we kill Lin Feng, the Sinner-Blood Alliance will collapse on its own. Since that's the case, there's no need for us to launch a full-scale attack on the Sinner-Blood Alliance. It's better to think of a way to kill Lin Feng. Northern Wilderness War God, I agree with your suggestion. Following that, another Legion commander agreed. Actually, Heaven Emperor wanted to attack the Sinners Alliance because he wanted to be invincible and destroy the Sinners Alliance. Only then would he be able to display his boundless might. Killing Lin Feng and breaking up the Sinners' Blood Alliance was indeed a very good method, but it would not be able to display the boundless might of heaven. Therefore, he did not agree with the Northern Wilderness War God's suggestion. However, Heaven Emperor realized that after the Northern Wilderness War God finished speaking, the Legion commanders all expressed their opinions. They all supported the Northern Wilderness War God. This angered Heaven Emperor. He was a suspicious person, and the Northern Wilderness War God's prestige seemed to be too high. Of course, Heaven Emperor was very shrewd. He would not voice out his dissatisfaction. The Northern Wilderness War God was different from the other Legion commanders. Firstly, the Northern Wilderness War God's background was extraordinary. Even Heaven Emperor was an outsider, but the Northern Wilderness War God's family had taken root in the Undying Realm for countless years. Even now, the Northern Wilderness War God's family still controlled more than 10 domains in the Undying Realm. One could imagine how powerful the Northern Wilderness War God's family was. Heaven Emperor said. Since everyone agrees with the Northern Wilderness War God's suggestion, then it's decided. Alright, you can all leave now. Yes. The Northern Wilderness War God and the others bowed, and then their bodies disappeared. Only Heaven Emperor, the immortal Sovereign Pan Yun, and another elder were left in the hall. The immortal Sovereign Pan Yun said, Your Majesty, those Legion commanders seem to be too respectful to the Northern Wilderness War God. Heaven Emperor knew what the immortal Sovereign Pan Yun wanted to say. He narrowed his eyes and said, The Northern Wilderness War God is a person of virtue and prestige. It's normal for the Legion commanders to be respectful to him. The immortal Sovereign Pan Yun and the other elders saw the change in Heaven Emperor's expression, and their hearts trembled. When Heaven Emperor narrowed his eyes, it was usually when his heart was filled with killing intent. Could it be that Heaven Emperor wanted to kill the Northern Wilderness War God? Chapter 46-31. What has the Crown Prince been up to recently? Heaven Emperor asked. The old man replied, The Crown Prince is in seclusion, preparing to break through to the true immortal realm. The old man was the general manager of the Heavenly Court. His name was Dong Ping. Said Tiandi the Celestial Emperor. Let him continue meditating in seclusion. Call the Great Prince and the other princes. I intend to give them the task of killing Lin Feng. I also want to see how strong they are. Yes. Dong Ping replied, then quickly left to convey the Heaven Emperor's fate. Lin Feng did not know what was happening in the Heaven Emperor Palace. Currently, Lin Feng was in seclusion. Lin Feng intended to refine the source energy of the Heavenly Stone War God. After all, it was the source energy of a true immortal expert. After refining it, his cultivation would definitely increase significantly. After refining the Heavenly Divine King's source energy, Lin Feng's cultivation had risen to the 5th layer of the Emperor Lord Realm. As for Lin Feng's soul, it had stopped at the 5th layer of the Earth Immortal Realm. This time, refining the Heavenly Stone War God's source energy did not increase as much as before. Lin Feng's cultivation rose by 2 levels, stopping at the 7th layer of the Emperor Lord Realm. Lin Feng's soul rose by 5 levels, stopping at the 10th layer of the Earth Immortal Realm. The reason why this increase was not as great as before was because of 2 reasons. First, when Lin Feng's cultivation rose, the consumption of the source energy would be even greater. The second reason was because Lin Feng had already refined the original strength of a real celestial. His body was resistant to the original strength of a real celestial. It was like taking a pill. If you took too many pills, your body would become resistant to the original strength of a real celestial. Eating more of the medicine would no longer have any effect. It was the same for the true immortal's source energy. However, being able to increase his cultivation by 2 levels and his soul by 5 levels already made Lin Feng very satisfied. After exiting seclusion, the Sinner Blood Alliance was developing in an orderly manner. More and more experts came to join the Sinner Blood Alliance. On this day, an old man wearing coarse clothes came to the Sinner Blood Alliance. This old man deceived everyone and directly came to Lin Feng's residence. Lin Feng seemed to sense something. He walked out of the room and saw the ordinary-looking old man. However, Lin Feng wouldn't judge a book by its cover. "Senior, this way please," Lin Feng said. "Yes. They really look alike." The old man couldn't help but sigh. "Like what?" Lin Feng asked curiously. "You are very similar to your mother," the old man said. Hearing this, Lin Feng's expression changed greatly. He did not expect the old man before him to know his mother. Who was he? How did he know his mother? "What does it have to do with me?" "Senior, may I know your name?" Lin Feng asked the old man. "Wang Mingchuan. Have you heard of it?" the old man asked with a smile as he looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng revealed an awkward expression. He had indeed never heard of this name. "It seems your father has never mentioned this old man to you," the old man said. Lin Feng said, "Back then, my father rarely told me about the past. Perhaps he was worried that knowing too much would not benefit me." Wang Mingchuan nodded and then said, "Your mother has been with me since she was 4 years old. She didn't leave until she was 18 years old. When your mother had an accident, I was at the hidden gate of life and death, so I didn't know the situation at that time. When I came out, everything was done." Speaking up to this point, Wang Mingchuan could not help but sigh. Lin Feng finally understood his relationship with Wang Mingchuan. According to seniority, Wang Mingchuan should be his grandmaster. Lin Feng bowed to Wang Mingchuan and said, "I did not expect Senior to be this junior's grandmaster." "Junior Lin Feng pays his respects to grandmaster." After saying that, Lin Feng bowed 3 times to Wang Mingchuan. Back then, his mother had followed Wang Mingchuan since she was 4. This meant that there was more than just a master-disciple relationship between them. There was also the grace of raising him. "I am relieved to see you grow up healthily." Wang Mingchuan patted Lin Feng's shoulder. Lin Feng asked, "Grandmaster, what happened back then? Why did my mother follow you since she was young?" Wang Mingchuan said, "It's a long story. Back then I had a deep relationship with the ancestor of the sovereign clan. In fact, your grandfather had followed me for many years. One rainy night your grandfather carried your mother to my residence and handed her to me. He then left in the rain and never appeared again. My grandfather." Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. In Lin Feng's memories, there was nothing about his grandfather. In fact, Lin Feng knew very little about his mother. After all, when they parted, Lin Feng was still an infant. "Yes, your grandfather is extremely talented. I've never seen someone as talented as him. He has completely awakened the bloodline of the sovereign clan and completed the 8th revolution at such a young age. He wanted to complete the 9th revolution, but you should know that the number 9 is very inauspicious. That's why I dissuaded him. I want him to complete the 9th and 10th revolutions at the same time. If he can complete the 9th and 10th revolutions, then your grandfather will be able to resolve the inauspiciousness of the 9th revolution. But then something happened that even I don't know about. Your grandfather left in a hurry. Before he left, I tried to ask him, but he didn't say anything." Wang Mingchuan had a vexed expression at this point. "If I had forcefully stopped him, perhaps the situation would have been different. I'm sure the ancestor wouldn't have been able to stop him if he wanted to leave," Lin Feng said. "Yes." Wang Mingchuan sighed. He continued, "Your mother is extremely beautiful. Perhaps it's because your grandfather's bloodline has completely recovered the power of his ancestral bloodline, so your mother's bloodline is extremely powerful. Your mother's cultivation progressed very quickly, and she's very lively. After she grew up, she wanted to go out and travel. I didn't want to agree at first, but she begged me again and again. In the end, I agreed, and during one of her travels, she met your father and brought him to me. At that time, your father was very young and had a good personality. I could see that he loved your mother a lot, so when he told me that he wanted to marry your mother, I agreed. I personally held the wedding for them. Your father wanted to return to the clan and hold another wedding with the blessings of his clansmen, so they returned to 9 continents. On the way back, something happened. Chapter 46-32. Lin Feng chatted with Wang Mingchuan for a long time. He learned from Wang Mingchuan that Wang Mingchuan had been searching for his mother's whereabouts all these years. However, how could it be so easy to find her? Therefore, although he had been to many places, he had never been able to find his ancestor. This made Wang Mingchuan feel quite helpless. Wang Mingchuan hoped that he could gain something. However, he could only return in disappointment. Because he couldn't find the whereabouts of Lin Feng's mother, Ji Longer. Wang Mingchuan was worried that something would happen to Lin Feng, so he went to the 9 prefectures. However, when Wang Mingchuan arrived at the 9 prefectures, Lin Feng had already left for a long time. Wang Mingchuan searched all the way and finally came to the Undying Realm. Now, the two finally met. Lin Feng was very happy to see Wang Mingchuan. However, when he thought of his mother, Lin Feng's mood couldn't help but become gloomy. Now that I can see that you can take charge, it's really gratifying. I'm sure that if your mother knew what you've done, she would be very happy, Wang Mingchuan said. Lin Feng clenched his fists and said, I will definitely save my mother. I believe that you can do it, Wang Mingchuan said. Lin Feng arranged a residence for Wang Mingchuan. Naturally, Lin Feng was very happy that the Sinner Blood Alliance had such a powerful expert like Wang Mingchuan. Lin Feng introduced Wang Mingchuan to Duguya. After learning that Wang Mingchuan was Lin Feng's ancestor, Duguya was obviously very surprised. Duguya had never seen Wang Mingchuan before. Then, Lin Feng brought the upper echelons of the Sinner Blood Alliance to visit Wang Mingchuan's ancestor. After hearing that Wang Mingchuan was Lin Feng's ancestor, the upper echelons of the Sinner Blood Alliance were very shocked. Only then did they know that there were many experts behind Lin Feng. One after another. However, this made the upper echelons of the Sinner Blood Alliance very happy. The more experts behind Lin Feng, the higher the chances of the Sinner Blood Alliance surviving. On this day, Duguya found Lin Feng and told Lin Feng that he planned to leave. Lin Feng naturally didn't want Duguya to leave, but since Duguya said this, he must have thought it through carefully before saying it. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't urge Duguya to stay. Everyone has their own business. Lin Feng asked, Uncle Dugu, where do you plan to go? Duguya said, I plan to look for your father and see if I can find him. Please, Uncle Dugu. Lin Feng bowed towards Duguya. Duguya supported Lin Feng and said, Feng or cultivate well. Don't put yourself in danger. Senior Wang's strength is unfathomable. With him overseeing the Sinner's Blood Alliance, it's enough to deter countless experts and make them not dare to act rashly. If I find your father, I'll send you the news as soon as possible. Feng understands. This journey will definitely not be peaceful. Uncle Dugu, you must be careful, Lin Feng said solemnly. Duguya was one of Lin Feng's closest relatives. The world of cultivators was filled with danger. Even true immortals wouldn't dare to say that they could act without fear. They didn't know when they would be able to meet again after parting this time. They also didn't know if they would be able to meet again. Moreover, Duguya had gone to find his father. If this matter was known by the mastermind, they would definitely attack Duguya. Therefore, Lin Feng's heart was filled with worry. In the world of cultivators, there were too many instances where a short separation would turn into an eternal one. I will. Duguya patted Lin Feng's shoulder and left. Lin Feng stayed in the Sinner's Blood Alliance for a month. He planned to return to Black Sand region. This was because Lin Feng still had to make a trip to Tu Tiange. Previously, Lin Feng had accepted a mission from Tu Tiange. Now that Tu Tiange's mission had been completed, Lin Feng had to return to hand in the mission. Tu Tiange was an organization that had existed for a very long time. In addition, they had a very deep relationship with his father, Lin Beitian. Therefore, Lin Feng hoped to have a deeper relationship with Tu Tiange, especially the leader of Tu Tiange. Who was this person? Lin Feng was very curious. This time, Lin Feng left with Du Zhu, the evil sovereign sage, and the two ghost emperors. 3 months later, Lin Feng returned to the Xia family village. Everything in the Xia family village was proceeding in an orderly manner. Everyone was very happy to see Lin Feng return. However, the news in the village was more limited. Therefore, they didn't know what had happened in the outside world. The Snow Lady was as beautiful as ever. She was so beautiful that it took one's breath away. Lin Feng hadn't seen the Snow Lady for a long time. Therefore, after seeing the Snow Lady, he was finally relieved of his longing. Who wouldn't want to see such a delicate beauty? Young master, you are indeed a man of 10,000 flowers. You won't let any of them go. When he was alone with Lin Feng, Du Zhu grinned. This guy had always been a shameless person. There was nothing he couldn't say. After hearing Du Zhu's words, Lin Feng kicked Du Zhu away. Serves you right, the evil Dominator Saint said with a grin, as if he was rejoicing in the misfortune of others. The two ghost emperors also had gloating expressions on their faces. I was wrong. Young master, you only pluck the immortal flowers. You can't be bothered to look at the ordinary flowers. Lin Feng said. Lin Feng said. I realize that you are really asking for a beating. Du Zhu quickly shut up when he saw that Lin Feng was really going to beat him up. The Snow Lady fell in love with life in the Xia family village because the people there treated her very well. This was a kind of kindness that came from the bottom of her heart. Everyone treated the Snow Lady with sincerity, as if she was a family member. Evidently, all sorts of feelings welled up in the Snow Lady's heart. Ever since the tragedy of the Xia family village, the Snow Lady's life had been very sad. She had always been alone. Everyone who saw her was plotting against her, trying to capture her, or even kill her. Therefore, the Snow Lady didn't trust the outside world. She had become cold, but the people of the Xia family village gave her warmth. She felt that she was a part of the Xia family village. Lin Feng was naturally very happy to see the changes in the Snow Lady. He had always been worried that the Snow Lady would be unable to extricate herself from the pain of the past. Now, the Snow Lady had gradually walked out of her pain. Lin Feng felt gratified for everything that had happened to the Snow Lady. From now on, the Snow Lady could live like a normal person. Lin Feng stayed in the Xia family village for 3 days. Then, he brought Du Zhu, the evil sovereign sage, and the two ghost emperors to Sky Withering City. After arriving at Sky Withering City, Lin Feng went straight to the Wantong Trading Company to meet Meng Bingyan. Chapter 46-33. When Meng Bingyan saw Lin Feng, she smiled and said, Lin Gongzi's actions in the Sin realm are truly shocking. When I heard about it, I was so shocked that I was speechless for a long time. Now, even the higher-ups of the Slaughtering Sky Pavilion are talking about it. Lin Feng smiled and said, You flatter me. I've already found the Holy Spirit liquid you mentioned. Does that mean I've successfully joined the Slaughtering Sky Pavilion? Lin Feng took out the Holy Spirit liquid and handed it to Meng Bingyan. Meng Bingyan's eyes lit up after seeing the Saint Spirit liquid. She inspected it and smiled. It really is the Saint Spirit liquid. Young noble is truly resourceful to be able to obtain something like the Saint Spirit liquid. Since you have the Saint Spirit liquid, young noble can be considered to have passed the test. Naturally, you can join the Slaughter Sky Pavilion. Will I be able to see the Pavilion Master? Lin Feng asked. I can help you ask the Pavilion Master's opinion, but he's not in Heavenly Wither City right now. You'll have to wait for a while. Meng Bingyan said. Lin Feng said. Of course. That's not a problem. Lin Feng, Du Zhu, the heretic sovereign sage, and the two ghost emperors settled down in the Wan Tong Trading Company. As for Lin Feng, he entered a space-time zone to cultivate. The cultivators in Heavenly Wither City were discussing the Sin Realm and Lin Feng. However, none of them had expected the person they were discussing to be in Heavenly Wither City right now. Perhaps no one would believe that Lin Feng would dare to come to the Black Sand region. After all, the Black Sand region had lost 2,700,000 cultivators. Even 2 of the region master's sons had been killed. Lin Feng had actually dared to come to the Black Sand region after such a blood feud. The word audacious could no longer be used to describe him. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. On this day, someone arrived at the Slaughtering Sky Pavilion's headquarters. This person was the Slaughtering Sky Pavilion's Grand Elder, Sun Tianzhou. He looked to be in his 50s or 60s, but it was obvious that he had lived for a very long time. After seeing Lin Feng, Sun Tianzhou smiled and cupped his fists, saying, I've heard a lot about young friend Lin. Today, I finally get to see young friend Lin in person. You really are a dragon among men, just as the legends say. Elder, you flatter me, Lin Feng said modestly, but in fact, he was very happy. Who didn't like to hear good words? Lin Feng also liked it. Sun Tianzhou said, The Pavilion Master is now at the hidden latch of life and death. It's a very important moment, so he can't see you. So he sent me here to see you, Lin Feng said. I see. If the Pavilion Master came out of seclusion, I hope that the Great Elder can give me a recommendation, Sun Tianzhou said. Of course. Young friend, perhaps you don't know much about our Slaughtering Sky Pavilion. In our Slaughtering Sky Pavilion, there is a Deputy Pavilion Master. Now that this position is vacant, there are 9 Grand Elders, 36 Elders, and 72 Hall Masters. Among the higher-ups of Slaughtering Sky Pavilion, the old Pavilion Master and the first Grand Elder are both at the true Immortal Realm. The remaining Grand Elders and 36 Elders are at the quasi-true Immortal Realm. The 72 Hall Masters are at the Heavenly Immortal Realm. There are even more experts below the Heavenly Immortal Realm. After hearing the words of the Slaughtering Sky Pavilion's Pavilion Master, Lin Feng's expression changed. Slaughtering Sky Pavilion's strength was too strong, wasn't it? Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Anyone who heard the strength of Slaughtering Sky Pavilion would be shocked. Lin Feng said. How could Slaughtering Sky Pavilion have so many experts? Could they have all been recruited? One had to know that even in a region, there weren't many quasi-true immortals and heavenly immortals. Compared to Slaughtering Sky Pavilion, there was a huge difference. Sun Tianzhou smiled and said, They weren't recruited. They're experts that Slaughtering Sky Pavilion has nurtured themselves. Experts that they've nurtured themselves? A look of disbelief appeared on Lin Feng's face. It might be possible for him to nurture a few or a dozen top-notch experts, but Slaughtering Sky Pavilion had too many experts. Nurturing themselves? How? Sun Tianzhou said with a smile. Slaughtering Sky Pavilion has the method to enter the time reversal world. After hearing this, Lin Feng's face revealed a look of deep shock. The time reversal world was a mysterious world. Lin Feng really wanted to enter the time reversal world. He wanted to see what kind of world it was. Is this the reason why Slaughtering Sky Pavilion has nurtured so many experts? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask curiously. Yes. Sun Tianzhou nodded. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He needed to work hard to calm his emotions. Now that he was considered a member of Tu Tiange, wasn't that right? Did that mean that he could enter the time reversal world? Perhaps he could raise his cultivation base in this world where time was reversed. Can I enter the time reversal world to cultivate? Lin Feng asked. Of course you can, but not now. Only the pavilion leader knows how to go to the time reversal world. Therefore, if anyone wants to go there, they need the pavilion leader's help. The pavilion leader is in a life and death situation, so he can't send you in, said Lin Feng. Sun Tianzhou said. So that's how it is. Lin Feng nodded. This time, you've helped the Pavilion Master greatly by obtaining the Holy Spirit liquid. Before coming, the Pavilion Master thought that I had brought you something, Sun Tianzhou said. Hearing that, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel curious. He wondered what Sun Tianzhou had brought him. Was this a reward for him? At this moment, Sun Tianzhou took out a few items. The first item was a yellow material. Lin Feng didn't know what it was. The second item was a jade tube. The third item was an ancient book. What are these three items? Lin Feng asked curiously. Sun Tianzhou said, This mysterious yellow stone was formed at the beginning of the world. It's the strongest forging material, and it's extremely rare. It's one of the Pavilion Master's treasures. Now that he's taken it out, it seems that the Pavilion Master values little friend Lin a lot. As for the jade tube, it contains the qi cultivation technique. When Lin Feng heard that, he couldn't help but be surprised. Using qi wasn't very useful for other people, but for Lin Feng, it was extremely useful. The qi cultivation technique was too precious. Brothers, Old Steen Bun's wife's grandfather has passed away. Old Steen Bun is going to her hometown to attend the funeral. Funerals in the countryside last 3 days. Chapter 46-34. Lin Feng's spiritual force couldn't wait to invade the jade tube. He wanted to see what kind of domineering aura cultivation technique was recorded in the jade tube. Grand apocalyptic domineering aura. When Lin Feng's spiritual force invaded it, he immediately sensed the contents inside. This shocked Lin Feng, because the word Grand Supreme was too extraordinary. Moreover, Lin Feng thought of Grand Supreme, one of the oldest and most powerful Khanate lifeforms in this era. He was also one of the most mysterious Khanate lifeforms. There were countless mysterious colors on him, and outsiders felt that everything about him was extremely strange. Of course, Grand Supreme also had a legacy. In the past, the Grand Supreme Immortal Sect in the 9 States Great World was a legacy passed down by Grand Supreme. Grand Supreme's legacy was one of the strongest in this era. Each of his legacies could be said to be heaven-defying. Now, this domineering aura was actually called Grand Apocalyptic Domineering Aura. It was no wonder that Lin Feng would think of Grand Supreme. This was an expert who had schemed for eternity. Back then, he had stunned several great eras. In the end, he disappeared silently. It was unknown whether he had fallen or hidden. Lin Feng's spiritual force continued to probe the Grand Apocalyptic Domineering Aura. Just as Lin Feng had guessed, the Grand Apocalyptic Domineering Aura was created by Grand Supreme. It was an acquired domineering aura, and it was actually the highest level of purple domineering aura. This made Lin Feng extremely shocked. Purple domineering aura was generally awakened innately. It was not easy to condense purple domineering aura after birth. But Grand Supreme had done it. From this, it could be seen how terrifying Grand Supreme was back then. Lin Feng's spiritual force withdrew. The Grand Apocalyptic Domineering Aura was very heaven-defying, but to cultivate it successfully, it still lacked a necessary condition. The acquired Domineering Aura cultivation technique. Tyrant Stone. None of them could be missing. Now, Lin Feng had obtained the cultivation technique of the Grand Apocalyptic Domineering Aura, but he hadn't obtained Tyrant Stone yet. The probability of finding Tyrant Stone was not lower than the probability of finding the Grand Apocalyptic Domineering Aura. But finding Tyrant Stone couldn't be rushed. It depended on luck. What's the third item? Lin Feng looked at the ancient book which had already turned yellow. Could it be a powerful divine ability inheritance? Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. If that was the case, then that would be great. This was because cultivating these powerful divine abilities or immortal sutras was equivalent to increasing one's own accumulation. In this way, although he wouldn't make a breakthrough in his realm, however, his combat strength would be greatly improved. Therefore, Lin Feng was naturally looking forward to it. Sun Tianzhou smiled and said, "Open it and take a look." Lin Feng nodded. He opened the yellowed ancient book. The Tao of Time. Lin Feng looked at the 3 words on the front page of the website. His body suddenly trembled. The Great Path of Time. It was actually the Great Path of Time. In truth, Lin Feng had obtained a series of time Dao techniques from the Saint Devil Emperor. After Lin Feng finished cultivating those techniques, he discovered that they weren't the true Great Path of Time. Instead, they were some foundational techniques. Back then, Lin Feng had cultivated those techniques and gained some understanding of the Great Path of Time. If he cultivated the Great Path of Time now, it wouldn't take too long for Lin Feng to successfully cultivate the Great Path of Time. Sun Tianzhou smiled and said, "With young friend's comprehension ability, you should be able to comprehend the Great Path recorded inside. Of course, it might be difficult to comprehend it now, but as long as you persevere, you will definitely be able to comprehend it. If young friend can comprehend the Great Path recorded inside, it will be of great help to you." Lin Feng nodded and said, "Pavilion Master, thank you for your concern. When Elder sees you, please send my regards to you." Sun Tianzhou smiled and said, "Of course." Lin Feng asked, "May I know what I need to do next?" Sun Tianzhou said, "I don't have anything for you at the moment. However, if there is a mission for you, someone will inform you." Lin Feng and Sun Tianzhou chatted for another 2 hours before Sun Tianzhou left. He still had important matters to attend to, so he couldn't stay for too long. Lin Feng didn't leave. This was because Lin Feng planned to successfully cultivate the Great Path of Time. The Great Path of Time was simply too attractive to him. Lin Feng entered the Great Path of Time. He began to comprehend the Great Path of Time. Every great path had different inheritances, and the Great Path of Time was naturally the same. Since Lin Feng had cultivated the Great Path of Time, his foundation was quite good. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't spend too much time cultivating the Great Path of Time recorded in the ancient book. Lin Feng cultivated for a year in the Great Path of Time, but only a little more than a month had passed in the real world. After successfully cultivating the Great Path of Time, Lin Feng planned to leave. He wanted to go to the weak water region to take a look. Back then, Lin Feng had obtained the Bracelet of Misfortune from the weak water goddess. The Bracelet of Misfortune was rumored to be the weak water ancient god's treasure. Later, the weak water ancient god was sent into the endless weak water sea. She would never be reincarnated. The bracelet was soaked in the weak water sea's water day and night, causing the aura of misfortune to surround it. From then on, it became the Bracelet of Misfortune. After Lin Feng obtained the Bracelet of Misfortune, he wanted to throw it away, but he found that he couldn't. Every time Lin Feng threw away the Bracelet of Misfortune, the Bracelet of Misfortune would automatically appear in Lin Feng's storage ring. Lin Feng felt that the Bracelet of Misfortune was intertwined with his fate. Moreover, Lin Feng felt that his fate was entangled with the aura of misfortune. So sometimes Lin Feng thought of the several terrible curses that he had been afflicted with. Was it related to the Bracelet of Misfortune? Everything in this world has a cause and effect cycle, so Lin Feng's guess was reasonable. But no matter whether these curses were related to the Bracelet of Misfortune or not, the aura of misfortune that was entangled in his fate must be resolved. This was equivalent to a time bomb. Who knows when it will explode? Therefore, the matter of resolving the aura of misfortune was a rather urgent matter for Lin Feng. In addition, Lin Feng was also very curious about the legendary weak water goddess. Weak water, one of the ancient gods, was originally the owner of the endless weak water. But later, weak water fell in love with a man, and that man was transformed from a heavenly demon. As an ancient god, weak water was bewitched by the heavenly demon, causing the endless weak water sea to be tainted with the aura of the heavenly demon. Because of this matter, the gods were enraged. So the gods united. They displayed heaven-defying magical power. They turned the weak water sea into a deathly still sea area. The weak water ancient god was suppressed in the weak water sea and was tortured for eternity. This was the legend that Lin Feng heard from the demon lord, but he didn't know whether these legends were true or not. Perhaps soon, he would be able to know many things that happened in the past. Chapter 46-35. The weak water region was not only connected to the Sin domain, it also had a long border with the Black Sand region. Moreover, the famous Black Sand Devil Prison was located at the border between the Black Sand region and the weak water region. Black Sand Devil Prison, one of the death danger zones in the Undying Realm. Perhaps it was because of the Undying Realm. Therefore, the death danger zones in the Undying Realm were much more terrifying than the death danger zones in other places. There was no need to talk about the living beings in the death danger zones. The living beings inside were extremely terrifying. Therefore, the death danger zones were forbidden to living beings. Previously, Meng Bingyan had taken out 3 immortal origin stones from the Black Sand region. Meng Bingyan wanted to cut open the immortal origin stones to see what was inside. However, Lin Feng told Meng Bingyan not to cut the stones because those immortal origin stones made Lin Feng feel that they were very dangerous. Meng Bingyan listened to Lin Feng's suggestion and sold the 3 immortal origin stones at an astonishing price during the auction. Black Sand City was less than 3,000 li away from the Black Sand Devil Prison. It seemed far, but for cultivators, this distance was naturally nothing. It would not take long to reach. Lin Feng, Du Zhu, Evil Sovereign Holy, and the 2 Ghost Emperors arrived at the Black Sand Devil Prison. The Black Sand Devil Prison was very lively because every year, cultivators would come to pay their respects to the famous Death Danger Zone. Of course, many cultivators had another purpose. They wanted to dig out immortal origin stones from the surroundings of the Black Sand Devil Prison. The Black Sand Devil Prison was very special and different from ordinary Death Danger Zones. Ordinary Death Danger Zones did not produce immortal origin stones, but the Black Sand Devil Prison was rich in immortal origin stones. As for what caused all of this, it was not clear because these Death Danger Zones were very strange. Before those powerful living beings hid in the Death Danger Zones, the Death Danger Zones had existed for countless years. Perhaps even the ruler of the Death Danger Zones could not clearly explore the secrets inside the Death Danger Zones. During this period of time, even more cultivators gathered in Black Sand City because of the changes in the Black Sand Devil Prison. Every 3 days, waves of terrifying fluctuations would be transmitted from the Black Sand Devil Prison. He didn't know what had happened in the Black Sand Devilish Prison to cause such a terrifying fluctuation. Someone had linked the anomaly in the Black Sand Devil Dungeon to a legend. It was rumored that the Black Sand Demonic Dungeon was a prison. Some terrifying creatures were imprisoned in the Black Sand Devil Dungeon. Right now, there were violent vibrations coming from the Black Sand Devil Dungeon. It was unknown if the Black Sand Devil Dungeon was about to appear. Normal death zones mutated. Of course, in a place like the Land of Death, opportunities and dangers coexisted. When a great opportunity came, it also meant that great danger would come along with it. However, a cultivator's cultivation was to seek opportunities amidst danger. Wealth comes from danger. That was the logic behind it. Thus, despite knowing that there were dangers within the Black Sand Demonic Prison, a high number of cultivators had still been attracted over. Another legend said that when the prison appeared in the Black Sand Devil Prison, the Black Sand Devil Prison would become a lot safer during this period of time. At this time, cultivators who entered the Black Sand Devil Dungeon would only be attacked by the creatures hidden in the dungeon. They would not be attacked by the laws of the Black Sand Devil Dungeon. One had to know that the most terrifying part of the Land of Death was not the creatures inside, but the various terrifying laws of the Land of Death. How many years had the creatures in the Land of Death been hiding there? How many years had the Land of Death existed? There was no comparison at all. Many cultivators were looking forward to the appearance of the prison in the Black Sand Devil Dungeon. Their thoughts were actually very simple. If a great opportunity really appeared, they would just let the experts of the top factions fight for it. Meanwhile, they would just dig for immortal origin stones in the outer area. As long as they could dig out one immortal origin stone, its value would be unimaginable. At that time, it could be described as a windfall from the sky. Lin Feng could not help but reveal a shocked expression after hearing the news of the Black Sand Devil Dungeon's anomaly. Lin Feng was very clear about the dangers of the Land of Death. The land of death in the mortal world was already so terrifying, let alone the land of death in the undying world. It was simply unimaginable how terrifying it was. Lin Feng planned to stay here for a while. He wanted to see if the rumors were true, that a prison would appear when the Black Sand Devil dungeon underwent an anomaly. If that was the case, then this matter must be hiding some shocking secrets. On the second day after Lin Feng arrived at Black Sand City, he sensed the anomaly in the Black Sand Devil dungeon. Extremely terrifying fluctuations filled the void, and those terrifying fluctuations were coming from the direction of the Black Sand Devil dungeon. Moreover, Lin Feng discovered that the fluctuations coming from the Black Sand Devil dungeon had a special characteristic. Those fluctuations were weak and gradually grew stronger. As time passed, the fluctuations became more and more terrifying. The fluctuations lasted for 8 hours. When the powerful fluctuations came from the Black Sand Devil dungeon, many cultivators felt extremely suppressed. Therefore, many people were pale and sweating profusely. This is really strange. Don't tell me there's really a prison. If there's really a prison, are there living creatures imprisoned in it? If there are living creatures imprisoned in there, then who are the ones imprisoned in the Black Sand Devil dungeon? Du Zhu couldn't help but voice the doubts in his heart. This was also what Lin Feng was puzzled about. Since the legendary prison had yet to appear, Lin Feng couldn't be sure if the rumors were true. However, there was no smoke without fire. Since there was such a rumor, in that case, perhaps those rumors were true. This was something that was hard to say. Lin Feng was still waiting in Black Sand City. On this day, Lin Feng, Du Zhu, the heretic sovereign holy sage, and the 2 ghost emperors went to a brothel to drink. Living in this world, one should enjoy life when it's time to do so. This was especially true when they were young. They should seize the time to enjoy themselves. After all, they were full of energy when they were young. Once they grew older, they might not have the energy to enjoy themselves even if they wanted to. To Lin Feng's great surprise, he actually saw a myriad flower building in Black Sand City. Du Zhu, the heretic sovereign holy sage, and the 2 ghost emperors exchanged glances. Lin Feng was all too familiar with the myriad flower building. It was originally a brothel rooted in the 9 prefectures. The myriad flower building nurtured countless beauties, which attracted countless experts. The myriad flower building had always been a neutral faction. Perhaps this was the reason why the myriad flower building had opened many branches in many great worlds outside of the 9 prefectures. Lin Feng hadn't expected the myriad flower building to open a branch in the undying world. It seemed that the myriad flower building was quite powerful. Chapter 46-36. At this moment, Lin Feng had a myriad of thoughts. This was because the myriad flower building had evoked many memories in him. For example, the saintess of the myriad flower building, Miao Ke, had purposely gotten close to him. There was even an ambiguous relationship between the 2 of them. However, in reality, Miao Ke only wanted to use him to enter the emotionless Tao. First enter the emotions, then cut off the emotions. This was the emotionless Tao. The emotionless Tao was suitable for women. Therefore, many talented female cultivators had cultivated the emotionless Tao. Other than Miao Ke, Lin Feng had also interacted with the 2 saintesses of the myriad flower building, Lu Huaxian and Hua Luoyu. There was no need to mention Lu Huaxian. She was Lin Feng's confidant. Although the 2 of them often quarreled when they were together, Lin Feng was actually very fond of Lu Huaxian. Lu Huaxian's beauty was soul-stirring. She was like a fairy in a painting. Her beauty was suffocating. She was so beautiful that no one could bear to profane her. Lin Feng still remembered the scene of him kissing Lu Huaxian. He also remembered the scene of Lu Huaxian chasing after him with a sword. However, Lin Feng had not seen Lu Huaxian for a very long time. Previously, Lin Feng had inquired about Lu Huaxian. Lu Huaxian had always been in seclusion. After Lin Feng left the 9 continents, he lost contact with Lu Huaxian. He did not know how Lu Huaxian was doing now. As for Hua Luoyu, Lin Feng was not particularly familiar with her. However, Lin Feng heard that she was formed from an immortal infant. She was equivalent to a sacred spirit. Such an origin was naturally extremely extraordinary. "Let's go and take a look at the myriad flower building," Lin Feng said. "I wonder if there is any difference between the myriad flower building in the undying realm and the one in the mortal realm?" Du Zhu said with a grin. The few of them entered the myriad flower building. The inside of the building was very lively. After the 5 of them entered the myriad flower building, a beautiful woman swayed her willowy waist and walked over. She was holding a fan in her hand. The beautiful woman smiled and said, "5 lords, please come in." Lin Feng and the others followed the beautiful woman into the myriad flowers building. Du Zhu said, "We want the prettiest girl." He, sir, the ladies here are all so beautiful that they can captivate even the birds and beasts. They are absolutely alluring," the beautiful woman said with a smile. She brought Lin Feng and the others to a private room. Lin Feng was very generous. 30 dancers, 30 singers, and 30 singers were chosen each. Apart from that, he had also ordered 10 beautiful women to accompany him, so each person had 2 beautiful women to serve him. Lin Feng and the others only left in the middle of the night. Just as he walked outside, someone suddenly bumped into Lin Feng from behind. It was a cultivator with a thin and weak figure. He didn't get a clear look at what he looked like. After bumping into someone, the cultivator quickly left. Du Zhu scolded, "Are you King blind? He didn't even apologize after bumping into someone." Du Zhu was drunk and seemed to want to argue with that cultivator. Lin Feng pulled Du Zhu back. In fact, Lin Feng was also a little drunk. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been bumped into by that cultivator. "It's just a small matter. Let's go back and rest. I just want to have a good sleep now," Lin Feng said. Du Zhu finally let it go. The few of them returned to their rooms. After washing up, they went back to their rooms to rest. Late in the night, a figure silently appeared in Lin Feng's room. Then, a cold light appeared in the figure's hand. It was a dagger. The figure held the dagger and stabbed at Lin Feng. Just as the dagger was about to stab Lin Feng, the sleeping Lin Feng suddenly opened his eyes and grabbed the person's wrist. "You!" A voice suddenly came from the darkness. It was a woman. "Who are you? Why did you come to my place in the middle of the night to assassinate me? Do I know you? Are you a member of the assassin dynasty?" Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator and asked. "Go to hell and ask the king of hell," the female cultivator said coldly. Her other hand slapped at Lin Feng. Lin Feng reached out his hand. He grabbed her other wrist as well. He suddenly pulled. The female cultivator was pulled to the bed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng held her down. He flicked his finger. The night illumination pearl in the room lit up. The room became bright. Lin Feng saw the face of the woman in front of him. It was a small and charming face. She could be said to be beautiful. At this moment, she was looking at him with a fierce expression. "Let go of me!" the woman said fiercely. "You're now a prisoner. How dare you act so presumptuously in front of me? You really don't have the attitude of a prisoner. Do you know how this young master will treat a beautiful prisoner like you?" Lin Feng suddenly showed an evil expression. You, what do you want to do? I'm telling you, don't act recklessly. If you dare to act recklessly, I won't let you go," the female cultivator threatened. However, her threat didn't have any deterrent effect. Lin Feng pinched her delicate face and said, "Whether you act recklessly or not depends on whether you're honest or not. Later you'll answer whatever I ask you. Do you hear me?" The female cultivator originally wanted to refute, but when she thought of how beautiful she was and how she was now in Lin Feng's hands, she felt a chill in her heart. If she really went against this guy's words, would he really do something worse than a beast to her? Therefore, she could only choose to submit for now. "Why do you want to kill me?" Lin Feng asked. "Because I want to get something from you," the female cultivator said. "Oh? Get something from me? What is it?" Lin Feng asked. "Someone put something on you. Don't you know?" the female cultivator said. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. He suddenly thought of the person he met when he was drunk. That person bumped into him. Could it be that that person stuffed something on him? At that time, he didn't notice it. Lin Feng rummaged through his body. Sure enough, he found something. It was a black jade token. It was very strange. He didn't know what it was. In order to get this thing, you actually want to kill me. A woman's heart is really the most vicious. Lin Feng pinched the female cultivator's face. Her red lips pouted. She was really cute. However, her heart was a little too black. You bastard. The female cultivator angrily looked at Lin Feng. She wanted to struggle, but she couldn't. Lin Feng said, "Since you're in my hands, you'd better behave." The female cultivator was extremely angry, but she didn't dare to resist Lin Feng. She could only obey. Lin Feng continued asking, "Who was the person who stuffed something into my clothes?" "She's my little sister," the female cultivator said coldly. When she mentioned her little sister, killing intent actually appeared in her eyes. Lin Feng was extremely puzzled. Why did the female cultivator want to kill her little sister? Could it be that the two sisters had some unresolvable grudge? Fifth update. Chapter 4637. What? You even want to kill your own sister? Lin Feng continued to pinch her pretty cheeks. The female cultivator could only glare at Lin Feng in the face of his shamelessness. She couldn't resist Lin Feng, so she could only accept it silently. She's a slut. She deserves to die, the female cultivator said fiercely. It seemed like she had a lot of resentment towards her sister. How strange. Someone actually called their own sister a slut. I've learned something today, Lin Feng said. She almost killed me for the token of darkness. If she's not a slut, then what is she? The killing intent in the female cultivator's eyes intensified. Token of darkness? Are you saying that the token in my hand is a token of darkness? What's the use of this token of darkness? Lin Feng asked. Rumor has it that it's the token to open the devil prison. Devil prison? Could it be a prison in the Black Sand Devil prison? Lin Feng continued to ask. That's right. The female cultivator nodded. Lin Feng was shocked. If what the female cultivator said was true, then there might really be a prison in the Black Sand Devil prison. Lin Feng was very moved. If that was the case, then it was too shocking. Aren't you still alive? It seems like your sister still has feelings for you. She doesn't want to kill you. She just wants to steal the token, Lin Feng said. What do you know? I escaped in time. Otherwise, I would have died long ago, the female cultivator said through gritted teeth. Then you started to chase after your sister after you recovered? Lin Feng asked. That's right. She deserves to die. I want to kill her and take back what's mine, the female cultivator said. Your little sister is no match for you, so she hid the item on me. In truth, she wants you to target me so that she can take the opportunity to escape? Lin Feng asked. Now you know how vicious and merciless this little bitch is, right? The female cultivator asked. Lin Feng said sarcastically. Aren't you to the pot calling the kettle black? Don't talk about her, you're the same. Humph. The female cultivator gave a cold snort and looked to the left, unwilling to continue looking at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said with a smile. Say, do you think your sister will return to me after getting rid of you and think of a way to take the token of darkness away? Of course she will. This little bitch will not willingly hand over the token to others. She must be hoping that I will die in your hands. This little bitch loves to pretend to be pitiful. If she appears, she will definitely pretend to be pitiful in front of you. Then, she will win your favor and take the opportunity to attack. So, no matter what she says, don't believe it, the female cultivator said. You know her very well, Lin Feng said. Of course, we're twin sisters. We grew up together, so we're naturally familiar with each other, the female cultivator said. What's your name? Lin Feng asked. Ning Xianyu. the female cultivator said. Ning salted fish? What's wrong with that name? Salted fish? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. I'll bite you to death. The female cultivator knew that Lin Feng was deliberately teasing her, and was furious. Her body was pinned down by Lin Feng and she couldn't move. She could only open her mouth and bite Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng didn't let her have her way. Lin Feng grabbed her face and said with a smile, Your temper is really explosive. What's your sister's name? Ning Xianyu. Ning Xianyu said coldly. Then I'll wait for her to come. But before she comes, I'll have to deal with you first. Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianyu and said. Ning Xianyu's beautiful face changed abruptly. What do you want to do? Kill me? Ning Xianyu asked. If it were anyone else, they would have died a horrible death. However, I'm a person who has tender feelings for the fairer sex. I can't bear to kill a delicate beauty like you, Lin Feng said with a smile. You don't mess around. The expert behind me isn't someone you can offend. If you dare to mess around, you won't be able to keep your life, Ning Xianyu said with a trembling voice. I didn't expect you to be afraid, Lin Feng said with a smile that didn't look like a smile. I'm also a human. Of course I'm afraid, the female cultivator said. Don't worry, I won't touch you for now. Wait until I catch your sister. I'm going to rest now, Lin Feng said. Then, he used the seal to seal Ning Xianyu and placed her on a stool. Lin Feng lay on the bed and slept. Ning Xianyu was furious. You said you have tender feelings for the fairer sex? Is this how you treat a woman? You put me on a cold stool for an entire night? Don't you feel guilty at all? Then what do you want me to do with you? Lin Feng asked speechlessly. She was just a prisoner, yet she had so many demands. Ning Xianyu said. At least find me a room and let me sleep on the bed. Lin Feng immediately rolled his eyes. Can you have some awareness of being a prisoner? You're a prisoner now, not a big missy. Lin Feng really wanted to pry open this woman's head and see what she was thinking. Of course you can sleep on the bed if you want. Come, sleep on my bed. Lin Feng shifted his body and said. Ning Xianyu glared at Lin Feng fiercely and didn't say anything else. She wasn't willing to sleep with Lin Feng. The next day, Lin Feng woke up and found Ning Xianyu still asleep. Wake up! Lin Feng patted Ning Xianyu. Ning Xianyu woke up. When she saw Lin Feng, she was shocked and said, Why are you here? Why am I here? Damn, have you forgotten what happened last night? Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianyu speechlessly and asked. Of course I remember. I left a token with you temporarily, then I left and found a place to rest. Why am I in your room when I woke up? Could it be that you kidnapped me while I was sleeping last night? Ning Xianyu looked at Lin Feng in horror. You kidnapped me? What do you want to do to me? I know it's my fault for leaving the token with you to lure my big sister away. However, my big sister didn't do anything to you, right? Please forgive me. Ning Xianyu spoke while looking at Lin Feng with a pitiful expression. She was originally a beautiful woman. Now that she was showing such a pitiful and tearful expression, one couldn't help but feel sorry for her. However, Lin Feng felt a headache coming on. Wasn't this woman Ning Xianyu? Lin Feng remembered very clearly that he had captured Ning Xianyu yesterday. After that, he had imprisoned her and placed her on a bench for her to rest. In just one night, Ning Xianyu seemed to have changed into a different person. Moreover, from her tone, this woman wasn't Ning Xianyu, but Ning Xianyu's younger sister, Ning Xianwu. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He didn't know what Ning Xianyu was up to. Chapter 46-38. What the hell are you up to? Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianyu and asked. I'm not up to anything, Ning Xianyu said. Can you let me go? You said that Ning Xianyu is your sister? You're called Ning Xianwu? Lin Feng asked. How did you know that I'm called Ning Xianwu? Ning Xianyu asked in shock. Lin Feng couldn't help but rub his eyes. What the hell was going on? Did Ning Xianyu become Ning Xianwu? Lin Feng was sure that this woman was Ning Xianyu and definitely not Ning Xianwu. However, this woman said that she was Ning Xianwu. It was really strange. Moreover, Lin Feng felt that her personality was indeed different from Ning Xianyu's. Could a person have two different personalities? Lin Feng was extremely puzzled. "I've seen your sister," Lin Feng said. Ning Xianwu said in shock. "You've seen my sister? What did she say to you? Did she slander me in front of you?" Lin Feng nodded and said, "That's right. She slandered you, saying that you almost killed her to get the token of darkness. She even called you a slut," Ning Xianwu said. "How could my sister slander me? I was the one who got the token of darkness. She wanted to snatch it away, so she chased after me. I had no choice but to give you the token of darkness because I feel that you're very strong and the people around you are also very strong. Therefore, even if my sister comes to find you, she won't be able to do anything to you." Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianwu leisurely. Of course, it could also be Ning Xianyu. He couldn't tell who this woman was anymore. "Let's wait for your sister to find me," Lin Feng said. "All right, if Big Sister comes, I'll explain the token of darkness to Big Sister," Ning Xianwu said happily. When night fell, Lin Feng returned to his room and looked at Ning Xianwu. "Is my slut sister here yet?" Ning Xianyu looked at Lin Feng and asked. "You are Ning Xianyu?" Lin Feng asked. "Didn't I already tell you who I am? Why are you asking who I am?" Ning Xianyu looked at Lin Feng speechlessly. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile bitterly. Ning Xianwu became Ning Xianyu again. It was really strange. Could it be a split personality? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Lin Feng had never seen a person with dual personality, but he had heard of people with dual personality. It was said that a person with dual personality would have one personality at a certain time and another at another time. And the woman in front of him was just like that. In a certain period of time, she was Ning Xianyu. In another period of time, she became Ning Xianwu. Her personality was constantly switching between Ning Xianyu and Ning Xianwu. At this moment, Ning Xianyu reacted and said, "Did my little sister come by? What did that little slut say to you? I guess this little bitch definitely didn't say anything good about me. She's always been like this. She's always been the good guy, and I've become the bad guy. But in reality, she's constantly playing tricks in the dark. The worst person isn't me, it's her," Lin Feng said. "You are suffering from paranoia. Your little sister didn't say anything bad about you, so don't let your imagination run wild. Where did that little slut go? Hurry up and let me go. I want to find that little slut," Ning Xianyu said. "Let you go? Do you think that's possible? You wanted to kill me before. If you don't pay a price, do you think I will let you go?" Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianyu and said, "I can give you countless treasures in exchange for my freedom," Ning Xianyu said. "Countless treasures? I don't care. I like you more," Lin Feng said with a smile. He lifted Ning Xianyu's snow-white chin. This woman was indeed beautiful. Ning Xianyu bit her lips and didn't say anything. Lin Feng smiled and said, "I will come and see you again tomorrow." On the second day, Ning Xianyu became Ning Xianwu again. "Is my sister here? I have a feeling that she is hiding in the surroundings and is watching me in the dark," Ning Xianwu said. At this point, Lin Feng was finally completely sure that this woman might have dual personalities. So, sometimes it was Ning Xianyu's personality that took over the body, and sometimes it was Ning Xianwu's personality that took over the body. Now, Lin Feng was a little hesitant. He didn't know how to deal with this woman. Just as Lin Feng had said, he was a man who had tender feelings for women. Lin Feng naturally couldn't bear to kill this woman in front of him. Lin Feng said, "Your sister has left. You should leave too. Don't worry, you will be fine. Your sister promised me that she won't chase after you anymore." "Really?" Ning Xianwu's beautiful face instantly revealed an ecstatic expression. If it was true, then to her, this was an extremely happy thing. Because Ning Xianwu didn't want to be enemies with her sister. Of course it's true, Lin Feng said. Then, he released the seal on Ning Xianwu's body. Ning Xianwu said happily, Thank you. If it wasn't for you, my sister would definitely want to kill me. We are sisters, I don't want to be enemies with my sister. Sisters should indeed love each other dearly, instead of killing each other. I hope that the relationship between you sisters can be completely repaired in the future. All right, you can leave now, Lin Feng said. Can you return the token of darkness to me? Ning Xianwu asked. The token of darkness is mine, Lin Feng said. Ning Xianwu said, It's useless for you to have the token of darkness. Why? Didn't you say that the token of darkness can open the prison? When the prison appears, I will take the token of darkness to open it, Lin Feng said. Ning Xianwu said, You can't open the prison because only I can use the token of darkness to open it. Why is that? Lin Feng's face revealed a puzzled expression. Ning Xianwu said, A long, long time ago, a demonic spirit flower flew out of the prison. My sister and I are divine spirits born from that demonic spirit flower. Our roots are from that prison. When the demonic spirit flower flew out, it brought along the token of darkness. It said that only living beings who walk out of the prison have the hope of opening the prison. Because my sister and I are divine spirits born from the demonic spirit flower, we belong to this category. Therefore, we can use the token of darkness to open the prison, but others can't. Chapter 4639. After hearing Ning Xianwu's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. He didn't know if what Ning Xianwu said was true. However, Ning Xianwu looked rather innocent. Perhaps what she said was true. Lin Feng asked, Do you know what that prison is like? What kind of living beings are imprisoned there? I'm not sure about that, Ning Xianwu said. It's impossible to take back the token of darkness. If you think it's possible, you can follow me. When the time comes, we can go to that prison together. You must have your own purpose for entering that prison. I won't ask what your purpose is. I'm also very interested in that prison, Lin Feng said. All right. Ning Xianwu nodded in agreement. Then, she continued, What about the restriction on my body? When do you plan to remove the restriction on my body? Lin Feng said, There's no hurry. We'll talk about it in a few days. All right then, Ning Xianwu replied. Her personality was different from Ning Xianyu's. If it was Ning Xianyu, she would definitely scream hysterically. She would definitely not be willing to be imprisoned. For a period of time after that, the Black Sand Devil prison still had strange movements. However, that rumored prison had yet to appear. More and more cultivators were attracted to it. Even famous young masters like young Master Ming Yu and young Master Xing Yu were attracted to it. Not only were they attracted to it, even a few beautiful fairies were attracted to it. For example, Mu Yasi, Nangong Mili, and Hua Lingxian. These were all peerless beauties that Lin Feng had seen before. Lin Feng had met Mu Yasi a few times, but they weren't very familiar with each other. However, he was quite familiar with Mu Xia's junior sister, Suihan. After all, Suihan's first kiss was snatched away by Lin Feng. Suihan and Mu Yasi had a good relationship. When Lin Feng heard that Mu Yasi had come to the capital of crime, he could not help but wonder if Suihan, that hot pepper, was here. Back then, Lin Feng had killed the Divine Heavenly King's grandson, Xin Yanxing, in Divine Sovereign City. Afterward, he had left Divine Sovereign City before the Sacred Army surrounded him. After that, he had not seen Mu Yasi and Suihan again. In fact, although Suihan's personality was a little feisty, she was pretty and quite cute when one thought about it. As for Mu Yasi, she had a similar temperament to Lu Huaxian. She was like a peerless beauty that only appeared in paintings and poems, making people feel uneasy to approach her. Lin Feng was not particularly familiar with Nangong Mili. He only knew that her master was a powerful expert. Master Xingyu, one of the 8 great childs, was Nangong Mili's pursuer. Back then, Master Xingyu had wanted to kill Lin Feng and seize Lin Feng's Hou Yi Bao. However, he was worried that Lin Feng had a backup plan, so he did not make a move. Lin Feng was more familiar with Hua Lingxian. Back then, Lin Feng had met the Demiurge Flawed Four monsters because of Hua Lingxian. Previously, the Demiurge Flawed Four monsters had followed Lin Feng to the Xia family village. Later on, the Demiurge Flawed Four monsters had run off to some unknown place. Those four guys had rather strange personalities, so it was difficult for them to stay in the same place. As one of the top 10 beauties of the Undying Realm and the disciple of Demon Empress Fengxi, Hua Lingxian naturally had countless pursuers. She was a sacred spirit born from the immortal flower and was a rising star of the demon race. Therefore, not only did she have many pursuers, but there were also many people who wanted to kill her, especially some from the heavenly court. However, this woman was very powerful, so it was not easy to kill her. Moreover, if they really wanted to make a move, they had to consider whether they could withstand Demon Empress Fengxi's anger. Demon Empress Fengxi of the demon race was definitely an existence that no one dared to provoke. With so many top-notch prodigies and fairies arriving, Black Sand City became even more lively. For example, the reputation of the 8 great young masters and the 10 great fairies far surpassed many of the older generation experts. This was because their own combat strength could compete with many of the older generation experts. Moreover, they were very young. The men were handsome and confident, and the women were as beautiful as fairies. Naturally, they would become the focus of countless people's attention. In the Heavenly Fragrance Inn, the young generation's prodigies were gathering, but there were only about 20 people who could enter the private rooms on the 3rd floor. Other than the 8 great young masters and a few of the 10 great fairies. Those who could enter were all top-notch experts of the younger generation. In fact, those experts' combat strength was not necessarily lower than the 8 great young masters. It was just that their background was not as good as the 8 great young masters, so they could not be ranked among the 8 great young masters. Everyone, what do you think of that sinner's bloodline Lin Feng? During this period of time, he has caused a lot of trouble, and now he seems to have made a name for himself. A handsome young master said with a smile. This person was called the Destined Young Master. He was an extraordinary person. It was said that he had the Emperor's bloodline. This was an extremely rare ancient bloodline. This bloodline could exert enormous pressure on all kinds of bloodlines. His background was also very extraordinary. He was the successor of a hidden family. That hidden family was very mysterious. The outside world didn't know much about it, but it was said that it was the same as the Northern Wilderness War God's bloodline. It was a power that had taken root in the Undying Realm a long time ago. When the 9th Heavenly Emperor had just ascended to the throne, he had even paid a visit to this family. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the power behind the Destined Young Master was. This Lin Feng is indeed not simple. From how he was able to snatch the Hou Bao back then, we can see how extraordinary he is, a young master said. Sui Han said, "This guy is a stinking scoundrel. Don't overestimate him." Clearly, Sui Han was angry when she said those words. She recalled that her first kiss was taken by Lin Feng. Now, Sui Han was still a little mad. Nangong merely smiled and said, "Sister Han, you seem to be angry when you say those words. Could it be that Lin Feng has offended you?" Sui Han said. "No, it's just my own opinion." Nangong merely smiled and said, "I've seen this person before. He is indeed an extraordinary person. He even killed one of young Master Shuiyu's clones. You should know that young Master Shuiyu's clones are stone golems. They are very powerful. Since he was able to kill young Master Shuiyu's clones, it shows how extraordinary he is." Young Master Xingyu said, "Fairy, you are exaggerating his ability. His realm is not high, and he relies on the Hou Bao and the sun shooting divine arrows to be fierce. If he loses the Hou Bao and the sun shooting divine arrows, his combat capability will be ordinary. For a gathering like today, he is at most qualified to be with the practitioners below. He is not even qualified to enter our box." Young Master Xingyu's words were full of disdain for Lin Feng. As one of the 8 great young masters of the Undying Realm, young Master Ming Yu's battle strength was truly heaven-defying. Therefore, he had always maintained a high and mighty attitude. Lin Feng wasn't even in his eyes. Chapter 4640. Of course, Lin Feng didn't know that a group of young geniuses were discussing him. At this moment, Lin Feng was heading to the black market with Ning Xianwu. Ning Xianwu said that she needed to prepare some things before entering the Black Sand Devil prison. As for Du Zhu, the evil sovereign holy sage, and the 2 ghost emperors, they had run off somewhere to fool around. Lin Feng couldn't be bothered with them. Ning Xianwu didn't know Lin Feng's real name. Lin Feng only told her that he was called Ji. This was Lin Feng's alias. Lin Feng had used this alias when he was in the mortal world. Now, Lin Feng was using this alias again. Lin Feng was handsome and had an outstanding temperament. He was the center of attention wherever he went. Ning Xianwu, on the other hand, was a heavenly beauty. Naturally, she was the center of attention. When such a golden couple walked together, they attracted the attention of many cultivators. Lin Feng wasn't afraid that others would recognize him. Many people had heard of his name, but not many had actually seen him. How could it be so easy to bump into him? Of course, even if they recognized his identity, ordinary cultivators would have to take a detour when they saw him. Perhaps only some of Lin Feng's enemies would attack him. For example, the Black Sand Region Lord, the 8 Extreme Palace, the Heavenly Court, and other forces. Black Sand City was indeed an ancient city under the Black Sand Region Lord's control. However, there weren't any particularly powerful existences here. Therefore, even if he was discovered, Lin Feng wasn't afraid at all. Ning Xianwu first brought Lin Feng to many pharmacies and bought all kinds of medicinal ingredients. Lin Feng asked, "Why are you buying these medicinal ingredients?" "To refine insect-repellent pills. I vaguely remember that when we were heading to the devil prison, there would be a huge swarm of insects. If we were surrounded by those insects, we would die a horrible death. We need insect-repellent pills to disperse those insects," Ning Xianwu said. Lin Feng couldn't help but nod. Then, he said, "It doesn't seem to be so troublesome. Just buy some insect-repellent pills. In the black market, immortal-grade insect-repellent pills should be able to be bought," Ning Xianwu said. "Those insect-repellent pills won't do. You need special insect-repellent pills to be effective." After collecting the ingredients, Ning Xianwu continued to bring Lin Feng to stroll around the city. Actually, Lin Feng didn't like to go shopping. He usually went shopping with a goal in mind. To leave. Go. To leave. This was a habit that many male cultivators. Female cultivators, on the other hand, were different. Even if they did not buy anything, they still liked to wander around. "What else do I need to buy?" Feng asked. Xianwu said. "Ovt. Could it be that we can use the Buddha fat?" Lin Feng asked. "The Buddha resin can protect our souls from the invasion of evil spirits. The devil prison is a very terrifying place. Countless people have died in the devil prison over the years. Therefore, buying the Buddha resin is a very important matter. Without it, our souls will be invaded by those evil spirits and ghosts. This is a very troublesome matter," Ning Xianwu said. Actually, Lin Feng had obtained some Buddhist oil in the past, but he had used it all. Buddhist oil wasn't only useful for dispelling evil spirits, it was also useful for cultivation. It could make a cultivator's cultivation speed increase at an insane rate. But Buddhist resin was too precious. It wasn't easy to buy. If Lin Feng could buy Buddhist resin continuously, he wouldn't mind using it all the time when he was practicing cultivation. However, he could only think about it. Lin Feng said, "The Buddha resin isn't sold on the market. If you want to buy it, you'll have to rely on some connections. Unless you have connections, you won't be able to buy it." "Hee hee. Of course I have connections," Ning Xianwu said with a smile. She went to a few of the bigger trading companies. Every time she went to a trading company, she would take out a token and show it to others. However, Although she went to many trading companies, the token didn't have any effect. "What are you doing?" Lin Feng asked curiously. Ning Xianwu said, "Previously, there was a bastard who saw my beauty and wanted to do something bad to me. Therefore, I threw that bastard into a tiger's den to feed the tigers. Then I took his token. That token contained the cultivator's name, age, and other basic information. However, it didn't indicate which power he came from. Those big forces often open trading companies, and with that medallion, they can buy many things that outsiders can't buy from the trading companies. Although we don't know which group that guy belongs to, and we don't know which trading company he opened, we can check them one by one. Sooner or later, we'll be able to find him." Hearing this, Lin Feng said, "Even if we find the other party's power, they will check the identity token. At that time, we will definitely be exposed." Ning Xianwu giggled and said, "Trust me, we won't be exposed." Seeing how confident Ning Xianwu was, Lin Feng felt a little apprehensive. He didn't know how she could hide it from everyone. Ning Xianwu didn't say anything, so Lin Feng didn't ask. It would be boring to know everything clearly. He and Ning Xianwu asked one trading company after another. Finally, they found this trading company. It was called the 10,000 Heavens Trading Company. The power behind it was the 10,000 Heavens Palace. The 10,000 Heavens Palace was formed by a few big clans. The members of these big clans were the core of the 10,000 Heavens Palace. Of course, they would also recruit many talented geniuses and nurture them. Only by constantly nurturing many experts would this power be able to remain strong. Lin Feng wasn't very familiar with the 10,000 Heavens Palace. He only knew that the 10,000 Heavens Palace was a very ancient power that supported the Heavenly Emperor. The young Master Xingyu that Lin Feng saw before was the leader of the younger generation of the 10,000 Heavens Palace. Lin Feng didn't expect that the token Ning Xianwu obtained was the 10,000 Heavens Palace's token. After seeing the token, the deacon of the 10,000 Heavens Palace naturally didn't dare to underestimate it. The deacon brought Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu to the VIP lounge. A beautiful maid poured tea for Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu. The deacon then invited the elder over. Not long after, an elder arrived. He looked to be in his 50s. This elder was called Fan Yeqing. When he saw Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu, he couldn't help but cup his fists. "I need to check the identity token," Fan Yeqing said. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. He was actually a little worried that there would be a problem with the identity token. After all, the information imprinted on it didn't belong to Ning Xianwu. Previously, the deacon didn't have the authority to check the identity token, so he called the elder over. But now that the elder wanted to check the identity token, wouldn't he be exposed? Ning Xianwu said that she had a way to deceive everyone. Could she really do it? Lin Feng wasn't confident. "I just changed the information inside." Ning Xianwu turned to look at Lin Feng and then moved her lips. Lin Feng understood Ning Xianwu's lips. He couldn't help but ponder. This girl's magic power was sealed by him. How did she change the information inside? Could it be that she had broken the seal that he had placed on her, so her magic power had recovered? After checking it, Fan Yeqing found no problems and returned the token to Ning Xianwu. Fan Yeqing then smiled and said, "What do you want to buy?" "We need Buddha resin. I'm sure the trading company has it." "Take it out," Ning Xianwu said. He said, "Buddha resin is precious. Even if you're a member of the 10,000 Heavens Palace, you can't buy it for much cheaper." "Of course. Someone will pay for it," Ning Xianwu said. Fan Yeqing glanced at Lin Feng. He couldn't help but mutter in his heart. He guessed that Lin Feng was one of the pursuers of this fairy from the 10,000 Heavens Palace. Therefore, this fairy would buy whatever was expensive. Chapter 46-41. How many do you intend to buy? Fan Yeqing asked. "I'll buy as many as you have," Ning Xianwu said. When Fan Yeqing saw that Lin Feng still looked indifferent, he started whispering to himself again. This guy was really willing to spend so much just to pick up girls. However, the fairy before him was indeed beautiful. No wonder this guy was so generous. All right, wait a moment. I'll go get the Buddha resin now, Fan Yeching said and left. After Fan Yeching left, Ning Xianwu giggled and said, "Did you see that? I told you I had a way to deal with everything. He didn't find anything when he checked the identity token. What did you do to it?" Lin Feng asked Ning Xianwu. "I only erased the information that belonged to that guy and replaced it with my own information," Ning Xianwu said. "If this elder was very familiar with the disciples of Myriad Heaven Palace, wouldn't you still be exposed?" Lin Feng said. The reason he said that was because Ning Xianwu wasn't from Myriad Heaven Palace. The confidence she left in the token must be fake. Since it was fake information, it was normal for the other party to notice it. Ning Xianwu said. "That's why the information I left in the token didn't state that I'm a disciple of Myriad Heaven Palace. The information I left in the token is that I'm the granddaughter of a guest elder." "A guest elder's granddaughter?" Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianwu in surprise. Ning Xianwu said, "Even though that guy knows many disciples of the 10,000 Heaven Palace, he definitely doesn't know the granddaughter of the consecrator of the 10,000 Heaven Palace. Those consecrators of the 10,000 Heaven Palace are all very mysterious and very powerful. At his level, it's already not bad if he knows the names of those consecrators." "You're really a crafty girl," Lin Feng said with a smile. He found Ning Xianwu even more interesting. Ning Xianwu stuck out her tongue and said, "Are you impressed by my intelligence now?" Lin Feng lowered his voice and said, "Looks like you've broken my seal. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to secretly change the information in the token. Should I add some more seals on you?" "Don't. I don't want to be sealed by restrictions. I will listen to you. Please don't seal me with restrictions." Ning Xianwu looked at Lin Feng pitifully. Lin Feng thought to himself, "I didn't use a restriction to seal the current you. I used a restriction to seal the other you. Who knows when Ning Xianyu's you will appear? Right now, you're really cute and lovable." However, the you that belonged to Ning Xianyu was completely different. However, looking at Ning Xianwu's pitiful look, Lin Feng said, "All right, I promise you." Ning Xianwu was instantly delighted. She looked at Lin Feng with a face full of smiles. Those who didn't know would think that the two of them were looking at each other affectionately. At this moment, Fan Yeching returned to the VIP lounge and said with a smile, "Fairy, the Buddha resin is ready." After saying that, Fan Yeching took out a porcelain bottle. "Just this much?" Ning Xianwu asked. Fan Yeching smiled bitterly and said, "Fairy, the Buddha resin is sold by the drop. Even this bottle of Buddha resin took us a long time to collect. Is that so? Then Big Brother Ji, hurry up and pay the bill." Ning Xianwu kept the Buddha resin and looked at Lin Feng. "Even calling him Big Brother Ji? This fairy won't be taken down by this brat just like that, right? This brat is really going to enjoy life." After hearing how Ning Xianwu addressed Lin Feng, Fan Yeching couldn't help but mutter in his heart. One could say that he was envious of Lin Feng. What a beautiful immortal flower. Yet, it was going to be plucked by Lin Feng. Who asked Lin Feng to be handsome, rich, and good at picking up girls? "How many immortal stones?" Lin Feng looked at Fan Yeching and asked. 3,000,000 immortal stones, Fan Yeching said. Lin Feng nodded and waved his hand. Instantly, a river of immortal stones flew out. This river of immortal stones was made up of a total of 3,000,000 immortal stones. With so many immortal stones, they emitted a dense immortal chi that made one dizzy. Although 3,000,000 immortal stones were nothing to Lin Feng, to many people, it was definitely a huge fortune. Fan Yeching kept the immortal stones. Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu didn't stay and left Wantian Trading Company. "Is there anything else you need to prepare?" Lin Feng asked. Ning Xianwu shook her head and said, "I want to take a walk. Can you accompany me?" Lin Feng said. "Sure. Hee, you're quite nice to me. Do you like me?" Ning Xianwu giggled and looked at Lin Feng. "Yes, I like you. Why don't we consummate our marriage tonight? I'll be your bridegroom," said Lin Feng. "Shameless!" Ning Xianwu ruthlessly stepped on Lin Feng's foot and quickly left. "Looks like this girl is angry," whispered Lin Feng. Then, he hastily chased after Ning Xianwu. He had to say some nice things to calm her down. After walking for more than 2 hours, Lin Feng bought a few toys for Ning Xianwu. The two of them were about to leave. However, at this moment, a violent fluctuation came from a stone house in the black market. "I want the heavens to no longer cover my eyes. I want the earth to no longer be able to bury my heart." Suddenly, a low voice came from the stone house. Countless people heard the voice from the stone house. The voice seemed to be coming from the stones. Many people were alarmed. "What a hot-blooded speech!" Lin Feng looked at the stone house. Countless cultivators rushed towards the stone house. Soon, shocking news spread. The voice just now was actually coming from the stones in the stone house. "Is there a stone clan being born from the stones? The stone clan being who dares to say such words is definitely a terrifying stone clan being. It's the stone house of the 8 Extreme Palace. Many people have already entered the stone house. That stone clan being hasn't been born yet. This means that there's still a chance to suppress him. If we can suppress him, we might be able to wipe out his soul and refine his body into an avatar. It's hard to imagine how powerful that avatar would be." All sorts of news spread. More and more experts rushed towards the stone house of the 8 Extreme Palace. Initially, the 8 Extreme Palace wanted to close the stone house. However, with so many experts rushing in, the 8 Extreme Palace couldn't do anything. Therefore, the 8 Extreme Palace couldn't stop them. Not long after, many old men with white hair and stooped bodies appeared. These old men had unfathomable strength and entered the stone house one after another. Chapter 46-42. Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu had also arrived at the stone workshop. There was a sea of people here, and it was very lively. Of course, most of them were here to watch the show. "We can't find out which stone is the source of the sound. That stone is hidden," a cultivator said. Previously, there were many cultivators in the stone workshop. When they heard the sound, they were wild with joy and wanted to find the stone from which the sound came. However, they didn't succeed. The stone from which the sound came was hidden very deeply. That living being in the stone was clearly very cunning. It wouldn't be easy to find it. Ning Xianwu wrinkled her nose. This action was very cute. She looked at Lin Feng and asked, "Why don't we find a few stones and cut it open? Who knows, we might be able to find that Holy Spirit," Lin Feng said. "Let's wait and see." Originally, Baji Palace wanted to close the stone workshop. After all, such an extraordinary existence appeared in the stone workshop. They naturally wanted to take it for themselves. However, there were so many cultivators here. They had no choice but to open their doors and do business. After all, many old antiques had appeared. Unless Baji Palace wanted to completely offend those old antiques. Now, the people of Baji Palace could only hope that those people couldn't find that stone. Although peddling stones could allow Baji Palace to make a fortune, if that Holy Spirit was found, Baji Palace would be heartbroken. The 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop would be heartbroken. No matter how many immortal stones they had, they couldn't be compared to a Holy Spirit of the stone tribe. Everyone knew what it meant to refine that Holy Spirit into an avatar. Many people couldn't wait to choose their stones. Then, they began to cut the stones. Occasionally, someone would cut out something good. However, no one was able to find the large stone that the Holy Spirit was hiding in. Since the Holy Spirit of the stone race has already developed its own intelligence, it must be hidden very deeply. Moreover, in order to interfere with everyone's judgment, the Holy Spirit of the stone race might be hiding in a group of relatively precious stones. Because of this, the group of relatively precious stones would produce special fluctuations that would affect everyone's judgment. "Let's go to the courtyard where the high-grade stones are placed and take a look," a cultivator said. This cultivator's words immediately caused many people to agree with him. A large number of cultivators headed towards the courtyard where the high-grade stones were placed. Of course, there were also some who believed that the stone might be outside. That was because it was not safe to hide among the high-grade stones. That area would attract a lot of cultivators. Instead, it was safer to hide among the ordinary stones. Everyone's thoughts were different. Every courtyard where the stones were placed was filled with cultivators. At this time, there was a commotion outside. This was because a large number of young elites who were in the middle of a gathering had heard the news and came to the 8 Extreme Palaces stone workshop. These young elites had heaven-defying methods. They naturally knew what it meant to obtain a stone-raised saint spirit and refine it into an avatar. To put it bluntly, if the main body were to encounter a calamity in the future, it would be a disaster. The soul could also enter the body of the Holy Spirit of the stone race and continue to live. Furthermore, the Holy Spirits of the Stone Clan were extremely talented, even more so than many cultivators themselves. As such, occupying the body of a Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan was also a good way to cultivate. Therefore, many cultivators of the previous generation wanted to obtain the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. As for the older generation experts with white hair and stooped bodies, their thoughts were even simpler. Most of them were experts with a strong foundation. Now that they were born, their lives were flowing away at an extremely fast speed. In addition, they were old and weak. It was very difficult to change their fate. If they wanted to change their fate, the best way was to find some holy spirits born from the world and possess them. This way, their chances of success would be the highest. The appearance of a holy spirit of the Stone Clan was enough to drive everyone crazy. Look, that young master is young Master Mingyu, one of the 8 young masters of the Undying Realm and the leading figure of the 8 Extreme Palaces younger generation. That young master is young Master Xingyu, the leading figure of the Myriad Sky Palaces younger generation. He is also a dragon among men. One of the 8 young masters of the Undying Realm. Is that young master the destined one? He is also one of the 8 young masters of the Undying Realm. Look, it's Fairy Muyasi, one of the 10 great fairies of the Undying Realm. She is just like the legends. She is like a peerless beauty that only appears in paintings and poems. That fairy should be Fairy Nangong Mili, one of the 10 great fairies of the Undying Realm. She is pure and charming. I can't help but feel sorry for her. Is that Fairy Flower Fairy? Rumor has it that she is a fairy born from an immortal flower. She is as ethereal as an immortal. When the peerless geniuses and fairies appeared, the cultivators in the stone workshop cried out in surprise. The cultivators looked at the peerless geniuses and fairies. The 8 young masters, 10 great fairies, and some other peerless geniuses were too famous in the Undying Realm. They were young, but they could compete with the older generation experts. Everyone knew that if nothing unexpected happened, these peerless geniuses of the younger generation would surpass many of the older generation experts in the future. They were born in an era that couldn't be considered the best, but it was definitely an era of prosperity for cultivation. After the great changes in the world, this was the last period of prosperity for cultivation. It was definitely an era where peerless geniuses competed with each other. With these peerless geniuses and fairies here, our chances of finding the immortal source stone will be even smaller. Some cultivators lamented. They didn't want those peerless geniuses and fairies to come. In any case, I didn't have any hope, some cultivators said. I, on the other hand, have high hopes for this matter. I hope we can find something. Moreover, whether we can find the immortal source stone or not still depends on luck. So what if those peerless geniuses, fairies, and even the older generation experts come? If they don't have luck, they still won't find the immortal source stone, some cultivators said. This cultivator's point of view also garnered the approval of many people. Wow, they are all powerful figures. They are all legendary figures. Ning Xianwu, who was beside Lin Feng, exclaimed when she saw the group of peerless geniuses and fairies arrive. Ignorant, Lin Feng said. Ning Xianwu said. Who's ignorant? Of course I'm shocked to see so many legendary figures. Look at the surrounding cultivators, they are all discussing. It's you. At this moment, young Master Xingyu saw Lin Feng in the crowd. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Those peerless geniuses and fairies all looked over. Many people had seen Lin Feng before. That was because Lin Feng had participated in one of their gatherings. When they saw Lin Feng, they were all shocked. Chapter 46-43. Lin Gongzi! I didn't expect that we would meet again here. Nangong merely smiled as she looked at Lin Feng. Seeing that Nangong merely had actually taken the initiative to greet Lin Feng, young Master Xingyue, who had been pursuing Nangong merely, suddenly had an ugly expression on his face. He couldn't help but feel jealous and cold in his heart. In his opinion, Nangong merely was his exclusive property. How could he allow others to taint her? Young Master Xingyue's possessiveness was extremely strong. However, Nangong merely had always maintained a distance from him. She had never agreed to young Master Xingyue's pursuit. It seems that meeting here is also a kind of fate, Lin Feng replied with a smile. It seems that our fate is indeed not shallow. Nangong merely smiled slightly. Seeing that Lin Feng and Nangong merely were chatting so happily, young Master Xingyue's heart burned with a raging fury. He couldn't wait to cut Lin Feng into pieces. Lin Gongzi, why are you here? Hua Lingxian looked at Lin Feng in surprise. She was very happy to be able to see Lin Feng again. Because of the demon clan, Hua Lingxian and Lin Feng's relationship was quite good. Lin Feng said, I was passing by and heard that there were some changes in the Black Sand Devil prison. Therefore, I stayed in Black Sand City to see if I could come across some opportunities. Fairy, are you also here for the Black Sand Devil prison? That's right. I also heard about the Black Sand Devil prison, so I came here, Hua Lingxian said. Mu Yasi said with a smile. Lin Gongzi, although it hasn't been long since we parted in Divine Monarch City, the things that have happened in between are really unbelievable. Lin Feng naturally knew what Mu Yasi was talking about. Lin Feng nodded and said, Yes, the world is unpredictable. But fortunately, everything is developing in a good direction. Su Yihan originally thought that she would gnash her teeth when she saw Lin Feng. But when she saw Lin Feng, she felt very happy. She wanted to greet Lin Feng, but when she saw Ning Xianwu beside him, her face turned ugly. She cursed Lin Feng for being shameless, so she didn't give him any face. When Lin Feng looked at her, Su Yihan coldly snorted. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter in his heart. He didn't know if Su Yihan ate gunpowder. Young Master Mingwe slightly raised his eyebrows when he saw Lin Feng. He was a member of Baji Palace, and Baji Palace was a faction that supported Crown Prince Diwudao. Previously, Crown Prince Diwudao had ordered Baji Palace to search for Lin Feng's whereabouts. If they found Lin Feng, it would be best if they could capture him alive. If they couldn't, they were to kill Lin Feng. Young Master Mingwe was also aware of this order, but he didn't participate in this matter. Dealing with Lin Feng would naturally be done by other members of Baji Palace. However, young Master Mingwe didn't expect that Lin Feng would dare to appear in Black Sand City, and even appear in the stone workshop of Baji Palace. So this is Brother Lin? This one has long heard of Brother Lin's great name. Meeting you today, Brother Lin is indeed a dragon among men. At this time, young Master Mingwe walked over. He had learned of Lin Feng's identity from a genius beside him who had seen Lin Feng before. After a brief moment of surprise, he personally came forward to greet Lin Feng. This one has also heard of young Master Mingyue's great name. Lin Feng politely cupped his fists. Haha, what great name! It's all because of other people's praise. If there's time, we must have a good gathering. I have been friends with Brother Lin for a long time. I just don't know if Brother Lin will give me this face, young Master Mingwe said with a smile. Young Master Mingwe is too polite. I naturally have time. When the time comes, I will definitely drink and chat with young Master Mingwe, Lin Feng said with a smile. Brother Lin, you can just call me Brother Wu in the future. Young Master Mingwe is an outsider's title, so don't regard me as an outsider. young Master Mingwe said. Young Master Mingwe's surname was Wu, and his name was Jin Mingwe. His full name was Wu Jin Mingwe. Of course, most people didn't dare to call him by his full name. Most people just called him young Master Mingwe. Brother Wu, Lin Feng said with a smile. Young Master Mingwe laughed loudly and said, Brother Lin is truly a straightforward person. Following that, many peak-level geniuses came forward to greet Lin Feng. Many of them were peak-level geniuses that Lin Feng had met before. These peak-level geniuses knew that Lin Feng had done many earth-shattering things during this period of time. Therefore, they also wanted to befriend Lin Feng. Lin Feng was naturally very polite. Ning Xianwu, who was standing to the side, was dumbfounded. Why were these legendary characters so polite when they saw this guy? This made Ning Xianwu puzzled. Wasn't his surname Ji? Why did everyone call him Young Master Lin or Brother Lin? Shouldn't they be calling him Brother Ji? However, Ning Xianwu soon recalled that Lin Feng had introduced himself as Ji. Clearly, that was just a nickname, and not a full name. It could be a surname, or a given name. Therefore, Lin Feng had never mentioned his surname before. She had misunderstood that Lin Feng's surname was Ji. Could it be that this guy in front of him was also a legendary figure? Who is that young master? Why did so many peak-level geniuses and fairies take the initiative to greet him? Isn't this too inconceivable? I don't know him. I've never seen him before. These young geniuses seem to be calling him Brother Lin or Lin Gongzi. That means that young master's surname is Lin. Who is this peak-level genius with the surname Lin? Lin Feng, the Sinner's Blood Emperor. His surname is Lin. Could he be the Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng? Many cultivators began to discuss as some tried to guess Lin Feng's identity. When the cultivator spoke out his guess, it immediately caused an uproar. Lin Feng had led the Sinner's Blood Alliance to destroy the Sacred Army and deal a heavy blow to the Four-Domain Alliance. Black Sand City was the territory of the Black Sand region. Lin Feng and the Region Lord of the Black Sand region were mortal enemies. Lin Feng had actually dared to come to the Black Sand region? Anyone would find this inconceivable. Therefore, many people believed that this young master was not the Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng. That's right. He is the Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng. I've seen him before he established the Sinner's Blood Alliance. At this time, a cultivator spoke, confirming Lin Feng's identity. The surrounding cultivators were in an uproar. The Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng, had actually come to the Black Sand region. This was truly a bold move. Countless gazes fell on Lin Feng. They wanted to see if Lin Feng really had 3 heads and 6 arms. If he did not have 3 heads and 6 arms, how did he lead the Sinner's Blood Alliance to destroy the Sacred Army and deal a heavy blow to the Four-Domain Alliance? Chapter 46-44. Lin Gongzi is proficient in the art of stone identification. Can you tell which immortal source stone is sealed in which sacred spirit? One of the prodigies asked. Everyone's eyes lit up as they looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, That sacred spirit from the stone tribe is very powerful. As of now, I can't detect where it is hiding. Everyone couldn't help but mutter in their hearts. Perhaps Lin Feng wouldn't say anything even if he detected it. In their opinion, since Lin Feng was proficient in the art of stone identification, he must have sensed something. The stone tribe's sacred spirit must have extraordinary means. Therefore, it's very difficult to find it using ordinary stone identification techniques. If you want to find it, you'll need some luck, Hua Lingxian said. Yes, you'll need some luck. Everyone here has the same chance of finding it, Nangong merely said. The surrounding cultivators discussed animatedly. Everyone gradually spread out to search for the immortal source stone that the stone tribe's sacred spirit was hiding in. The top prodigies and fairies also spread out and entered different courtyards to search for the immortal source stone that the sacred spirit might be hiding in. Naturally, they hoped to find the immortal source stone that the sacred spirit was hiding in. Every prodigy and fairy was very interested in the holy spirit of the stone clan. After the surrounding people dispersed, Ning Xianwu said, "You're actually the Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng. You even lied to me that your name is Ji. You're really infuriating," Lin Feng said. "Ji is my mother's surname. It's also my other name. Therefore, I didn't lie to you." Humph! After hearing Lin Feng's explanation, Ning Xianwu couldn't help but snort a few times. However, the anger in her heart subsided. Lin Feng said, "That's why you shouldn't be amazed when you see those top prodigies. That's because the man beside you is even more powerful than them." "Hee hee, you're powerful. You're the most powerful," Ning Xianwu said with a smile. "Let's go. Let's go to the other courtyards and see if we can find any clues," Lin Feng said. Ning Xianwu nodded and walked towards another courtyard with Lin Feng. As soon as they entered a courtyard, waves of violent fluctuations came from the depths of the courtyard. The sounds of venting shook the heavens, because there was definitely something good that was about to appear. Such an intense fluctuation, could it be that the Holy Spirit has been found? A cultivator said. "It's really possible," another cultivator added. This courtyard was very large and was considered to be a relatively high-class courtyard. Not everyone could enter this courtyard. Only those with status were qualified to enter. Now, the geniuses and fairies of the other courtyards, including many white-haired elders, had all arrived. "Let's go and take a look." Ning Xianwu was a very lively person, so she hurriedly ran towards the direction of the stone cutting. Lin Feng also followed. The cultivator cutting the stone was a white-haired old man. Someone pointed out the identity of this old man. It was said that he was a hidden expert of a mysterious hidden family. His strength was unfathomable. The stone he was cutting was a crouching ox stone. The stone looked like an old bull lying on the ground. The crouching ox stone became famous because of this. The crouching ox stone was 3.5 meters long and 2 meters tall. This immortal origin stone was worth 1.25 million immortal stones. It was very expensive. However, after only 3 cuts, there were already powerful fluctuations coming from it. Clearly, this crouching ox stone was extraordinary. No wonder so many people thought that this crouching ox stone might really produce the Holy Spirit. If the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan was really cut out, at that time, it would definitely cause quite a commotion. The old man was very skilled at cutting the stone. The stone-cutting knife in his hand spun like a butterfly weaving through flowers. Pieces of the stone fell off. The old man must have cut a lot of stones in his daily life. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so skilled. As the stone was continuously cut off, the fluctuations coming from the immortal origin stone became more and more intense. This made people feel shocked. Many people felt more and more that perhaps the Holy Spirit could be cut out from this immortal origin stone. The immortal origin stone continued to shrink. Before long, it had shrunk to half its original size. However, the Holy Spirit was still nowhere to be seen. "The fluctuations have disappeared," a cultivator said. Indeed. The fluctuations really had disappeared. The old man's expression turned ugly. He knew very well what the disappearance of the fluctuations meant. The old man increased the speed at which he was cutting the stone. Not long after, a crisp sound was heard from the stone-cutting knife. No one knew what he had cut. He cut something. I wonder what it is. Many people couldn't help but wonder. Now, they naturally didn't think that it was the Holy Spirit. If it was, the fluctuations wouldn't have disappeared so quickly. In the end, the old man cut out the object. To everyone's surprise, it was indeed a Holy Spirit. However, it was a Holy Spirit that was in the process of being born. It wasn't a stone man, but a stone crocodile. Lin Feng was a knowledgeable person, but this was his first time seeing a stone crocodile. Any Holy Spirit that was born would be extremely heaven-defying. There was still a trace of life in the stone crocodile's body that hadn't dissipated. Clearly, it hadn't been long since it died. It must have just died. This made Lin Feng extremely surprised. It really is a Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. Is it the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan who said that I want the heavens to no longer cover my eyes and the earth to no longer bury my heart? A cultivator asked, puzzled. It shouldn't be. That Holy Spirit wasn't far from being born, but this stone crocodile is still in the process of being born. It'll take some time before it's born. Another cultivator said. The stone crocodile was still alive. Why did it lose all its vitality in such a short time? This is really strange. Another cultivator said, his face full of confusion. If the stone crocodile hadn't died and continued to be nurtured, it would have been able to become a powerful Holy Spirit. However, the stone crocodile's vitality had already been cut off. It had no value. Could it be that its vitality was cut off because it was born prematurely? A cultivator said. Although it's not the time for it to be born, the stone crocodile's body has already formed. Even if it's born prematurely, its vitality shouldn't have been cut off. Something unknown must have happened. A white-haired old man said. It's that terrifying Holy Spirit that destroyed the stone crocodile's vitality. A voice said. Everyone looked over. The person who spoke was none other than Lin Feng. Why is that Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan doing this? The destined prince looked at Lin Feng and asked, puzzled. Everyone else also looked at Lin Feng. That Holy Spirit might have exposed itself by doing that. Why did it risk destroying the stone crocodile's life? Many people were puzzled by the actions of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. Chapter 46-45. Lin Feng said. This Holy Spirit is very overbearing. Of course, it can also be described as cruel and merciless. My guess is that he saw that the old senior was about to cut out the stone crocodile. So, to prevent the old senior from getting the stone crocodile, he killed the stone crocodile. In this way, although the old senior got the stone crocodile was useless. What benefits does he get by doing this? The old man was so angry that his whole body trembled. Although he had not been able to find the Holy Spirit, if he could get the stone crocodile, the harvest would still be huge. However, the Holy Spirit had killed the stone crocodile, so the old man did not get anything in the end. Naturally, the old man was incomparably angry. Now, he even had the thought of killing the Holy Spirit. There are no benefits. He simply doesn't want the stone creature to fall into the hands of the cultivators of other clans. Aren't there many clans who think highly of themselves and look down on other clans? The Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan obviously looks down on everyone here. He thinks that everyone here has a lowly bloodline. So, he would rather kill the stone creature than let it fall into the hands of the cultivators of other clans. Lin Feng said. Young Master Xingyu said indifferently. Kid, how can you say that? Who are you calling a lowly bloodline? You are talking about yourself, right? Lin Feng had already felt the strong hostility from young Master Xingyu. He had already felt it when he first met young Master Xingyu. At that time, young Master Xingyu had wanted to kill him. Lin Feng guessed that it was because of the Hou Bao. Now young Master Xingyu was hostile towards him because of Nangong Meili. Lin Feng had heard that young Master Xingyu had been pursuing Nangong Meili. However, Nangong Meili did not pay much attention to young Master Xingyu. Moreover, Nangong Meili was quite enthusiastic towards him. This caused young Master Xingyu to be jealous. Lin Feng had seen too many people like young Master Xingyu. They hated people because of love, and they vented their anger on others. They thought that by getting rid of their competitors or potential dangers, they could win the heart of a beauty. But this idea was obviously very foolish. I'm just analyzing the thoughts of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe from the perspective of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe. As one of the 8 young masters of the Undying Realm, you can't even understand the meaning of my words? If that's the case, then it seems that Your Excellency has really insulted the reputation of the Undying Realm's 8 great young masters. Lin Feng replied indifferently. Since young Master Xingyu was asking for a scolding, Lin Feng would not hold back. Brat, what did you say? Young Master Xingyu's face turned gloomy. Very few people dared to be so presumptuous in front of him. Moreover, Lin Feng's words could not even be described as presumptuous. It was like a slap to his face. Naturally, young Master Xingyu was infuriated. He looked at Lin Feng with a murderous gaze. Young Master Xingyu and Lin Feng are fighting. One of them is one of the 8 great young masters of the undying world, while the other is the Sinner Blood Emperor. I wonder what will happen if they fight? Many people couldn't help but get excited when they saw the two of them going against each other. If Lin Feng and young Master Xingyu were to fight, it would definitely be an exciting battle that would ignite everyone's blood. Don't you understand human language? Lin Feng looked at young Master Xingyu with a mocking gaze. Since they had already shed all pretenses of cordiality, there was no need to be polite with young Master Xingyu. Lin Feng hated young Master Xingyu's arrogant attitude. Did he really think that he was invincible just because he was one of the 8 great young masters of the undying realm? What a joke. Very good! Very good! Very good! Young Master Xingyu said very good 3 times in a row. It was obvious that he was extremely angry. He walked towards Lin Feng step by step and said indifferently, It has been a long time since I've seen someone who dares to provoke me. Since you want to die, I don't mind fulfilling your wish. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I'll kill you and replace your position as one of the 8 great young masters of the undying realm, Lin Feng said indifferently. He was very strong and did not fear young Master Xingyu at all. Both of you. This is the stone workshop of the 8-level palace. It's not a place for a battle. Please don't fight here, young Master Mingyu said. Young Master Mingyu naturally wanted young Master Xingyu to kill Lin Feng. However, this was not the place to do so. With Lin Feng and young Master Xingyu's cultivation, if they really fought, the stone workshop of the 8-level palace would be destroyed by the two of them. When that happened, the various immortal source stones in the stone workshop would definitely be lost. To the 8-level palace, such a loss would be too great. As a top genius of the 8-level palace, young Master Mingyu naturally had to protect the interests of the 8-level palace. I'll give young Master Mingyu some face and spare this lowly life today, young Master Xingyu said indifferently. When he looked at Lin Feng, his gaze was still indifferent and contemptuous. He did not put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. In his opinion, if they really fought, he could easily kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng sneered and did not reply to young Master Xingyu. Ning Xianwu was panting with anger. Young Master Xingyu was too arrogant. He did not put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. Killing Lin Feng was as easy as killing an ant for him. His tone was also arrogant and condescending. Such an arrogant attitude naturally infuriated others. Ning Xianwu felt that Lin Feng was not someone who would back down in the face of trouble. Hence, when she saw Lin Feng not rebutting the arrogant and self-righteous young Master Xingyu, Ning Xianwu was very surprised. Lin Feng, why don't you fight back? Is this still you? Ning Xianwu asked. Lin Feng said, I don't like to boast. I'll leave boasting to others. Many people could not help but laugh when they heard Lin Feng's words. Obviously, Lin Feng was mocking young Master Xingyu for boasting. Lin Feng was obviously not afraid of young Master Xingyu's provocation. When young Master Xingyu heard Lin Feng's words, the corners of his mouth could not help but twitch violently. At this moment, Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianwu and continued, Xianwu, remember something very important. What is it? Ning Xianwu asked curiously. When a dog bites a man must never bite a dog. Otherwise, a man is no longer a man, but a dog, Lin Feng said. When they heard Lin Feng's words, many people laughed, including Nangong Mili, Hua Lingxian, Mu Yasi, Sui Han, Ning Xianwu, and other beauties. Young Master Xingyu had just said that he would spare Lin Feng's dog life on account of young Master Mingyu. Lin Feng did not respond to young Master Xingyu. Now, Lin Feng's answer to Ning Xianwu was obviously calling young Master Xingyu a dog. Moreover, he had just been bitten by this dog. Therefore, when faced with young Master Xingyu's provocation, he remained indifferent and did not refute. If he refuted young Master Xingyu, wouldn't it be like a man biting a dog? How could a man bite a dog? If a man bit a dog, would he still be a man? Chapter 9. Seeking monthly votes. Recommendation votes. Reward. Chapter 46-46. In terms of eloquence, even 10 young masters Xingyu added together might not be Lin Feng's match. Therefore, young master Xingyu was so angry that his whole body trembled. He wished he could kill Lin Feng right there and then. However, this was the Baji Palace's stone workshop, so he couldn't do anything. Therefore, no matter how much he hated Lin Feng, he could only suppress his hatred and murderous intent. Ant-like thing, I won't lower myself to your level now. Soon you will know how stupid your current actions are, young Master Xingyu said hatefully. Lin Feng still ignored young Master Xingyu, as if he didn't care. Perhaps it was because dogs could bite people, but people couldn't bite dogs. Lin Feng had compared young Master Xingyu to a dog, so he wouldn't refute him. Little friend, have you found out where the immortal source stone is? The old man asked with a gloomy expression. Normally, he wouldn't ask Lin Feng such a question. Even if he did, he believed that Lin Feng would most likely not answer. The reason he asked Lin Feng this question today was because the old man was too angry. The stone crocodile was about to be born, but its vitality had been destroyed by the stone clan's sacred spirit. This made the old man's efforts go to waste. In the end, it was all for naught. Therefore, the old man was naturally very angry. Lin Feng didn't feel that there was anything he couldn't say about this matter. Previously, he hadn't been able to determine where the immortal source stone was hidden by the stone clan's sacred spirit. Now, Lin Feng felt that he had sensed where the immortal source stone was hidden. It should be in the courtyard in front of him. The reason he made this judgment was because the stone clan's sacred spirit had silently killed the stone crocodile. If the distance was too far, it would be difficult to do it silently. If he attacked from too far away, regardless of whether he released his power or retracted it, the sacred spirit could sense it. Therefore, Lin Feng guessed that the stone clan's sacred spirit was hidden somewhere in the surroundings. He quickly took action and retracted the power he had released. The time was very short. In addition, everyone's attention was focused on cutting the stone, so he successfully deceived everyone and killed the stone crocodile. Lin Feng said, I'm guessing that the stone tribe's holy spirit is hiding in this courtyard. After hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone was extremely shocked. If they were in this courtyard, then the target of the search would be much smaller. The faces of the 8 extreme palaces people turned green as they looked at Lin Feng with unfriendly gazes. They naturally didn't want these people to find the holy spirit of the stone tribe, because they wanted to find the holy spirit of the stone tribe by themselves. What are you waiting for? Quickly activate the restriction and seal off this courtyard, a white-haired old man said. This was an old antique expert. His words represented the thoughts of many people. Therefore, the people of the 8 extreme palace didn't dare to disobey. They could only activate the restrictions and seal the courtyard. As a result, the immortal origin stone that the Holy Spirit was hiding in was trapped in the courtyard. If that guy wanted to escape, he would have to try to break the restriction. With so many experts present, no matter how extraordinary that guy's methods were, he would need time to break the restriction. Therefore, when the time came, he would definitely be exposed. This Lin Feng is really amazing. He's so young, but his cultivation is so strong. He also has deep attainments in the stone discernment technique. He is Lin Baitian's son. Back then, how amazing was his father? Therefore, I don't think it's strange that he has these abilities. He doesn't only have these abilities. I heard that he is also proficient in great formations and is an array grandmaster. The cultivators outside were discussing spiritedly. Because many people couldn't enter the courtyard, they could only stretch their necks to look inside. Many people were amazed by Lin Feng's extraordinary abilities. In addition, everyone was paying attention to the specific situation inside the courtyard. They didn't know who would be lucky enough to find the immortal origin stone that the stone tribe's holy spirit was hiding in. Naturally, everyone was very curious about this matter. The courtyard was very large, spanning several thousand square meters. It was the largest stone workshop in Baji Palace. Therefore, there were a lot of immortal origin stones here. Immortal origin stones were precious, but the immortal origin stones here were even more precious. Wanting to cut all the immortal origin stones here was not a very realistic thing. These were the immortal origin stones that Baji Palace had accumulated over many years. Little friend, do you think this immortal origin stone is worth everything? A white-haired old man took a fancy to this immortal origin stone and asked Lin Feng for help. Lin Feng said, "Senior, do you plan to cut the stone tribe's holy spirit out?" The old man said, "This kind of thing can't be forced." "This old man is very open-minded," Lin Feng said. "Senior's attitude is very good. Since you have such an attitude, you can cut this immortal origin stone." Hearing this, the old man nodded. The immortal origin stone was worth 430,000 immortal stones. It was very expensive. The old man paid the price. Then, he took out a stone-cutting knife and began to cut the stone. Swoosh! Swoosh! The old man's technique was very skillful. Pieces of the stone began to peel off. Many cultivators gathered around to watch the show. They did not know if this immortal origin stone could really be cut into some immortal origin stones. Naturally, many people doubted Lin Feng's stone discerning technique. After all, Lin Feng was very young. It was not easy for his cultivation to be extraordinary. Could it be that he had other thoughts to research other things? Before cutting the stone, Lin Feng gave the old antique some pointers. Perhaps from a certain point of view, they could see how Lin Feng's methods were. As the stone continued to peel off, the surface area of the immortal origin stone rapidly shrank. However, nothing was cut out. There was a commotion in the surrounding area. Many people were discussing in private. They felt that perhaps nothing would be cut out this time. When the stone had shrunk to the size of a bowl, everyone was even more certain of this matter. The old antique who was cutting the stone could not help but frown. He did not blame Lin Feng. This was because he had chosen this immortal origin stone himself. He had asked Lin Feng whether or not to cut this immortal origin stone. No one had forced him to do so. Moreover, cutting the stone was a matter of probability. No matter how powerful the stone discerning technique was, it could not guarantee that something would be cut out. In reality, the probability of something being cut out was very small. When the last knife was cut, the old antique expert no longer held any hope in his heart. However, when the knife was cut halfway, the cracked immortal origin stone emitted a faint golden energy. A refreshing fragrance wafted out from the cracked immortal origin stone. Chapter 46-47. The old man could not help but reveal a shocked expression, followed by a burst of ecstasy. When he smelled that special fragrance, the old man felt as if he had become a few thousand years younger. This feeling was too comfortable. Although they did not know what was sealed within the immortal source stone, it was definitely extremely precious. Although we still don't know what it is, the fragrance is very special. After smelling it, I felt my body become incomparably comfortable. It's definitely an amazing treasure. Yeah, the thing inside is definitely heaven-defying. We'll know what kind of treasure it is in a while. Lin Feng gave that old antique some pointers before, asking him to cut open that stone. Was he just lucky, or is he really proficient in the stone discernment technique? Those top prodigies all highly praised Lin Feng's stone discernment technique. It seems like he really is proficient in the stone discernment technique. I really don't know what this guy has been through all these years. At such a young age, his cultivation is already so tyrannical. It's already unbelievable that he has such profound attainments in the stone discernment technique. It's really admirable. Yeah, it's really admirable. It seems like the rumors about his extraordinary attainments and formations are also true. Many cultivators started talking. They all looked at Lin Feng in awe and respect. Lin Feng was a bit stronger than before. Because Lin Feng's methods were too extraordinary, such a person would naturally be respected. Finally, The old antique expert carefully cut open the immortal source stone. The thing inside the immortal source stone was also revealed to everyone. The thing inside the immortal source stone was a silver silkworm. On the silkworm's back, there were traces of blood. It was very strange. What surprised everyone was that the silver silkworm was actually still alive. Silver blood silkworm! After seeing the silver silkworm, many people could not help but exclaim, their faces filled with disbelief. This was a legendary spiritual object. It was said that the silver blood silkworm was very precious. If the silver blood silkworm was used as the main ingredient to refine the silver blood life-prolonging pill, it could increase one's lifespan by 100,000 years. It should be known that the immortal pills that could increase one's lifespan by a few thousand years were already very heaven-defying. If the silver blood silkworm was used as the main ingredient to refine a pill that could increase one's lifespan by 100,000 years, it was really heaven-defying. Of course, no one would use the silver blood silkworm to refine this kind of elixir because they would carry it with them when they cultivated. The aura emitted by the silver blood silkworm could subtly change a cultivator's body. At the same time, a cultivator's lifespan would also gradually increase. Many people wanted to find spirit insects like the silver blood silkworm. However, no one could find the silver blood silkworm. The main reason was that after the end of the era, many natural treasures and living beings had disappeared. It was not like the early epoch when resources were abundant, and there were many races. Therefore, many of the heavenly treasures and earthly treasures that originally existed, as well as some races and living beings, had now become existences in myths and legends. The old man was naturally very excited. Even though he couldn't find the holy spirit of the stone tribe, he was still able to obtain a silver blood silkworm. This was a great harvest. Not to mention 400,000 immortal stones, this old man wouldn't even sell it for 40 million immortal stones. This was a priceless treasure. Thank you for your guidance, little friend. I am Situ Xingxing. I am from the reclusive Situ clan. If you have any problems in the future, you can come find me. I might be able to solve your problems. The old man was very grateful to Lin Feng for obtaining the silver blood silkworm, so he smiled and said, So it is Senior Situ. This junior didn't do anything earlier, Lin Feng politely said. The old man only smiled. There was no need for words. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed. Earlier, everyone saw how Lin Feng taught Situ Xingxing how to cut the stones. Lin Feng's stone identification technique was absolutely amazing, causing everyone to be shocked. Many people went to pick the stones they liked. Then, they went to Lin Feng and asked Lin Feng if they should cut the stones they found. Under normal circumstances, Lin Feng wouldn't have taught them anything. However, this was the stone workshop of the 8 Extreme Palace. Lin Feng and the 8 Extreme Palace didn't have a good relationship. Both sides were enemies. Lin Feng wanted to trick the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop. Therefore, when people came to ask him, Lin Feng would usually give them some guidance. This led to a very interesting scene. Whenever Lin Feng shook his head, those cultivators would immediately throw away the stones they chose. However, whenever Lin Feng nodded, those cultivators would cut the stones they chose. Of course, Lin Feng's choice of stone wasn't 100% guaranteed to yield a good item. Although they didn't have a 100% success rate, in the end, they still had a 90% success rate. And this probability was obviously very shocking. After seeing this scene, the faces of the cultivators in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop turned green. This was because the stones that Lin Feng judged to be useless were thrown to the ground like garbage. Many good things were taken away by those cultivators. This time, the loss of the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop was too big. Moreover, it was foreseeable that after this stone cutting, many people wouldn't patronize the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop anymore. This was because everyone would feel that the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop had lost a lot of good things. There was no need to continue cutting stones in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop. If they continued to cut stones in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop, they might go bankrupt in the end. After thinking about this possibility, many people in the 8 Extreme Palaces stone workshop even had the thought of killing Lin Feng. However, they naturally couldn't do such a thing. Even if they hated him in their hearts, they couldn't do it. They also couldn't do anything to Lin Feng. Otherwise, the reputation of the 8 Extreme Palaces stone workshop would be completely ruined. Moreover, many people had received Lin Feng's kindness. If they were to do something to Lin Feng now, the people in the 8 Extreme Palaces stone workshop felt that these cultivators would tear down the 8 Extreme Palaces stone workshop. Lin Feng was strolling in the courtyard. He was also looking for immortal source stones that were worth cutting. In addition, Lin Feng was also looking for immortal source stones where the Holy Spirit was hiding. However, the Holy Spirit was very cunning. Its concealment method was also very brilliant. Therefore, even after searching for a long time, Lin Feng still couldn't find where it was hiding. At this moment, Lin Feng stopped in front of a stone and looked at it. Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal an extremely astonished expression. Could it be that he wants to cut the stone? Many cultivators couldn't help but talk to themselves. Everyone was surrounding the stone. Lin Feng's stone discernment technique was unparalleled in the world. Even those old antiques were far inferior to him. However, Lin Feng didn't choose any immortal source stones before. Now, he revealed an astonished expression when he saw the immortal source stone in front of him. Chapter 46-48. What is the price of this immortal source stone? Lin Feng asked. 880,000 immortal stones. The elder in charge of the stone workshop said with a gloomy expression. He really wanted to say that this immortal origin stone was the most precious treasure of the academy. Therefore, he wouldn't peddle it because he felt that Lin Feng's stone identification skills were superb. The immortal origin stone that he had his eyes on definitely had some good stuff. If he cut it open himself, the workshop would definitely obtain something extraordinary. However, he couldn't casually say such words. Even if it was for the reputation of Baji Palace, he couldn't say such words. Good! I want it! Lin Feng said. Next, he waved his hand and a river of 880,000 immortal stones flew out. The elder of the 8 Extreme Palaces stone workshop put away the immortal stone with a gloomy expression. Will this immortal origin stone yield anything extraordinary? Ning Xianwu asked curiously. Lin Feng said, Let's give it a try. I'm not sure. Lin Feng took out his stone-cutting knife. Swish! Swish! Stone chips were constantly being cut down. Lin Feng was naturally very familiar with cutting stones. The size of the stone continued to decrease. It continued to shrink. But nothing appeared. There wasn't any special aura either. Everyone couldn't help but mutter. While Lin Feng was teaching others how to cut stones, many people obtained good things. When it was his turn to cut the stone, could it be that the first cut would end in failure? This situation was not impossible to discover. Some cultivators who had grievances with Lin Feng wished that Lin Feng would not be able to cut anything. Clang! Suddenly, Lin Feng's stone-cutting knife seemed to have cut a metal surface, and a sonorous collision sound was heard. I found something! Many people couldn't help but exclaim. Everyone's eyes couldn't help but become heated. They wondered what good things Lin Feng had cut out. It must be extraordinary, right? Not long after, Lin Feng cut out the item inside the immortal origin stone. Everyone looked over and discovered that what Lin Feng had cut out was actually a small fragment of a broken sword. This surprised many people. Buzz! At this moment, an extremely terrifying aura was emitted from the broken sword. That aura seemed to be able to split open the 9 heavens world in an instant. This aura was too frightening. Many people couldn't help but be frightened. They had never seen such a heaven-defying broken sword. How could a broken sword emit such a terrifying aura? What kind of expert was able to forge such an extraordinary sword? Presumably, when the broken sword was complete, it must have been heaven-defying to an unimaginable degree. Master of the 6 Paths, I am the Ghost Lord. Master of the 6 Paths, I am the Ghost Lord. Lin Feng stood in place, his face full of disbelief. This was because one voice after another came out of the broken sword. The broken sword kept repeating the phrase, "Master of the Sixth Tao, I am the Wraith Lord." What did he mean by that? Could it be that this broken sword was a supreme treasure forged by a ghost lord in the past? Perhaps this broken sword hid a great secret. Perhaps this broken sword could find the whereabouts of that ghost lord. A ghost lord might not necessarily be the master of the Six Paths. However, if the master of the Six Paths was also a ghost lord, then this ghost lord would definitely be an unimaginably heaven-defying existence. He would definitely be ranked among the top experts of this era. Therefore, if he could find the legacy of this ghost lord, he would be able to do so. It would definitely be a great opportunity. The broken sword seemed to want to fly away. Lin Feng quickly used the 8 soul sealing seals to seal the broken sword. Only then did the broken sword's terrifying aura disappear. Lin Feng let out a long sigh and put away the broken sword. Seeing how careful Lin Feng was with the broken sword, many people couldn't help but mutter in their hearts. That broken sword was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, Lin Feng might know the origin of that broken sword, which was why he was treating it so seriously. Perhaps the meaning behind the broken sword could not be measured by the value of a broken sword. "You still haven't told us what that broken sword is," Ning Xianwu said. Everyone was very curious and wanted to know the origin of the broken sword. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't tell them. He looked at Ning Xianwu and said, "I'll tell you when we get back." "Hee, okay." Ning Xianwu smiled and nodded. Her appearance was so beautiful that it was suffocating. The surrounding cultivators dispersed and continued to look for immortal origin stones that they wanted. Lin Feng saw that Sui Han was also looking for immortal origin stones. He glanced at the immortal origin stone that Sui Han chose and said, "Your immortal origin stone isn't good. Choose that one over there." Lin Feng pointed at a nearby immortal origin stone and said. Sui Han snorted. Seeing Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu together, she couldn't help but feel jealous. Therefore, she ignored Lin Feng. However, Sui Han still obediently listened to Lin Feng's words. She gave up on the immortal origin stone that Lin Feng chose for her. She bought that immortal origin stone. She then cut open that immortal origin stone. A golden jade crown was cut out from that immortal origin stone. That golden jade crown was clearly an extraordinary treasure. It emitted an extremely shocking fluctuation. Sui Han's beautiful face revealed a happy expression. She hurriedly sacrificed the golden jade crown. After Sui Han sacrificed the golden jade crown, Sui Han's beautiful face revealed an even more happy expression. Obviously. After sacrificing the golden jade crown, Sui Han knew what kind of treasure that golden jade crown was. Perhaps the value of the golden jade crown far exceeded Sui Han's imagination. That was why Sui Han revealed such a happy expression. At this time, Lin Feng was also looking for his next target. He looked at many immortal origin stones. Some immortal origin stones did indeed have something sealed within them. However, those immortal origin stones didn't attract Lin Feng's interest. Finally, Lin Feng stopped in front of a relatively large immortal origin stone. This immortal origin stone was 5 or 6 meters tall. Its width and thickness were 3 or 4 meters. In the beginning, Lin Feng didn't discover anything special about this immortal origin stone. However, when Lin Feng tried to sense this large immortal origin stone for the second time, Lin Feng discovered there was a very weak fluctuation inside the immortal origin stone. This attracted Lin Feng's attention. The fluctuation was very obscure. If one didn't carefully sense it, they wouldn't be able to sense it. What is sealed inside? Lin Feng couldn't help but say to himself. He had a strong intuition. The thing sealed inside was definitely extraordinary. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.